you think that's a beautiful sound I made? Someone let me know if that's a beautiful sound I made. So far, I got all 3 chats pulled up. Hold on, let me click the buttons. You guys, I gotta click the buttons. I start on Twitch. It worked. Rumble has a new thing, so let's see if it works on Rumble. I think it's gonna work on Rumble. Oh. Connected to viewers will be able to find it once it goes live. What if I did go live? What if I did? Start stream. I'll have to click start stream button. Okay. How are we doing, Yeeps Creator? How are we doing, Steak is Cool? Been a long time since I've seen you around. Steak is Cool. I'm glad to see you back. I still remember the night you spent all of your parents' money and probably got grounded for a few weeks for sending me like $200 or whatever dollars. I appreciate you for that. I truly do appreciate you for that. Not recommending you do it again, but you know, what do I know? What do I know? 73 ad is crazy. What does that mean, Mango VR? 73 ad is crazy. What does that mean? What does 73 ad mean? How's everybody doing out there tonight, by the way? We got Mango, we got Yeeps Creator. Are you a creator of Yeeps content? Let's go ahead and check his stuff out real quick, you guys. Whoever the first like 5 people to comment on this shit, I check out their content, make sure everything's good. You guys, I need a 3rd monitor. I don't know where I'd put it. There's not enough room for a 3rd monitor. Ooh-wee. So this is the Yeeps Creator. Let's take a look real quick. Actually, let me pull this up. Watch. You guys are going to see some behind-the-scenes action. This right here is what lets me pull the chat up, all the different chats up on the screen. So let me select YouTube live sources. Yeah, that's the one I want. There we go. Let's switch it to live chat. So now it should have the things up there. Let's auto find live sources on here. Ooh, it did it. It did it. And activate source on Twitch. Ooh, it did it. It did it. Okay, so I can type like HHHHH. And then on this, the chat should be open, right? Hold on. Let's refresh it. And type HHHH. There we go.
Kendrick says, huh. Hi, Kendrick says.
Listen closely, everybody.
Hi, Kendrick says.
That's my favorite. Whenever it gets the deep growl going, like it's like it feels like his skin is being filleted, but like on a microscopic scale. Like every nerve ending is kind of like going and like gravitating above him based on like some kind of like imagine you shocked someone with sound, but the sound is like molecular and all the nerve endings kind of like went off of his body and it was like ooh, and he's screaming like ah! And so it's a lot of layers of screams on top of each other because even his throat, the voice cord in his throat or whatever it's called, it's going and getting different layers stacked up on each other. Would you agree that that's what it sounds like? You guys, what's going on? Do you want to do a collab again? Steak is Cool says, sure. Yeeps Creator says he doesn't care about cussing. That's dope as H, which is short for heck, which is short for a word I'm not going to say. There was 73 ads before I could watch the stream. Really? Cool. I don't know how to do. I can click this button, insert shit. Sorry. Did I just insert? Sorry. Let me say my bad. My bad.
Hi, Kendrick says, my bad.
Didn't know what button did, and now I know. Is anyone still watching on YouTube? Did it insert an ad?
Did, and now I know.
Did it insert an ad? I don't know if you guys can even hear me right now. Did it work? It inserted an ad? How? Dude, I can click that button anytime I want. If any of the people on YouTube are getting me upset, pissing me off a little bit, I'll click the money button up here. There's a money button right up top, and you guys will all have to watch Colgate and why you need to brush your teeth with Colgate. That's amazing. Oh, you were just kidding? You were just kidding? Wait, you were just kidding about you love the content or what? Oh my god. Oh, you're just joking about there being 73 ads? Yeah, I don't think there was enough time for that to have happened. So I wasn't believing that based on there. If every one of them was 5 seconds, 73. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. What's 73 times 5? You see? She doesn't even know. There's no reason to think about it like that. We don't need to keep thinking about it like that. Let's close Photoshop. Yeah. Nope, I don't want to save that no more. We're done with that. We're done with this. We'll go ahead and switch on over back to this screen while I pick a game to play. Everyone's chatting in YouTube, so I don't really need to show Twitch. Although, if anything's going to show, it's going to be Twitch before Rumble. So I will switch these two. Actually, where's Rumble? There we go. Rumble can go here because no one ever says anything. Whoa! Oh, never mind. It popped up on. I was looking at the wrong thing. Mango says, "I love your content." Thank you, man. I love you. Hopefully, I'll start making videos again here soon. Steak is Cool says, "For real." Let me type. So you just said for real. It seems like it's deleting the messages too fast or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of. I don't know what's going on actually. What game do you guys? Whoever showed up first. I'm talking to the Yeeps creator. I'm talking to Steak is Cool VR. I'm talking to Mango VR. You three, specifically you three. I want to ask you three. What game should I play? Because this stream is going to be dedicated to you three. You guys were the three that showed up. You guys were the three that... why do each of you have a number? This happened last time. It's very distracting. Mango VR is number 1. So you should feel bad about yourself. Steak is Cool. Yeeps creator, you're number 3. What is deciding these numbers? I don't think it's like how many times you've commented, is it? Okay, so Yeeps creator says something 1 time, but then Steak is Cool says something 2 times, which is more than 1, so I can see why 1 would happen. Now you're number 2 because that's your second thing said. Is it just based off of how many times you comment? Couldn't people just spam the goddamn chat then to get number 1? I'm confused what these things are. You each have 75 XP actually, so never mind. You're all tied up. I guess it's first come, first serve though. How interesting. How very, very interesting. You should play Crawl Space. I played that shit before, man. I have a whole video on that shit before, man. Did they make a new one or update it in any way? Because otherwise, I've already done that shit. I've been there, done that. I don't need to do it again. I'll show you. I'll show you. I don't know if I titled it Crawl Space, but it's something upsetting. I know I used the babies. Are there babies in the game that like run after you? I think there's like little babies that come after you. Right? Hey Siri? Is there babies in that game? Where's the babies at?
Okay, I found this on the web. For is there babies in that game? Where's the babies at? Check it out.
There it is. That's the game. Is this what Crawl Space is, you guys? I'm not going to play the whole video. I just want you to tell me, is this what that game is? I'll switch the thing over to this screen. Yeah, this is Crawl Space, right?
Hey, shout out this guy and this guy for letting me, and maybe another guy. Who is that?
Hey, I heard your... The editing is off the fucking... Dude. The editing, back whenever I was at the... this is, I think, I don't know. This is pretty good. The editing that I used to do, I can still do it. It's not like it, but I just don't anymore. But how fast it is, and the soundscape, dude. For me, it's the soundscape. When I watch movies, like, the number one thing I notice is the sound. Like, it can be the most bullshit-ass scene, the most bullshit-ass visuals. Especially for, like, I noticed this in advertisements, where it's like they can just make a happy song play or a sad song play, and it makes you feel that regardless of if you want to or not. And I hate that shit so much, man. I hate it so much. And I know I could edit a video where I have like serious tones in the background and make myself out to be a serious motherfucker. I know I could do that easily. Click and drag and talk in a certain cadence. I know I could do that. Kill me if I ever do that. Dude, if I ever try to make myself seem serious based on like fucking music and shit, like the sound effects, because God, it's so easy. And the people that realize it and can edit and know what the sounds are, they take such advantage of everyone else. Not only would I feel like a cheat, like a fake if I did that, more importantly, I would feel fucking gay. Dude, look at stand-up comics. There's nothing wrong with being gay in that you like the same sex. I'm not talking about that type of gay. I'm talking about being a fucking faggot. Not in the way that you like other people your same sex. Not. Being a bitch, a fag, a stand-up comedy. Dude. Maybe it's just the changing times, and it probably is, and probably in the future I'll look back at what I'm doing right now as gay. Or it wouldn't be me. Hopefully it would be me, because we're going to enter an age where we're editing our brains with fucking, wires going into our heads, and so we could force ourselves to grow as people grow, as the culture grows. Either fucking way, man. Is it Yaps-a-lot time, Mr. Yaps-a-lot? Yappy? Is that what it is? Mr. Yappy time? If I ever use sounds like that to like make myself sound serious, kill me. The only way I'm going to allow it is whenever it's fucking stupid shit. It's silly shit. And if I ever were to be serious, I'm not putting fucking sound effects and editing into it, behind it. Stand up is gay as hell, man. Dude. To imagine like making a joke up in your mind and planning it out and having to go up there and deliver it on stage. It's so fake. That's what I love this new generation. As new generations come about, everything like we look at stand up and it's like fucking fake. And this older generation, it's like that's good for them, and that's fine. Everything's good. I love everyone. But good God, that's my biggest thing about because I've been funny since whatever age I started being funny at, and people would be like, you could be a stand-up comedian. I didn't ever know how to put it into words why I thought that was such bullshit. The idea of fucking making up a joke and going up on stage and like delivering it in the right way and responding to the audience. Dude, and you can see these fucking comedian fucks up on stage whenever they get a laugh on something they didn't know, and they're like, oh, that one got a laugh, and this, and that. Dude, God, yeah, I want to hurt them, We're fine. Let's carry on with but this is good editing. I think this is good editing.
Who is that?
I heard you're interested in the job. My daughter is really interested in collecting dolls. Her room on the lower level of the house is connected to the crawl space.
That's the name of the game.
I know what's going on here.
They're starting to freak me out.
Hey, it's alright, man. You called the right dude. I love crawling into girls' rooms to steal their dolls. Is that what's happening? Did he say I get the dolls? Hold on, I wasn't listening.
I know it sounds weird, so...
No, man. Hey, listen, you give me the location and the crawl space, that little hole to crawl in. I'm completely fine with crawling into your daughter's room, getting a peek in there.
For our own safety. It unlocks once you finish your work.
I should have listened. He unlocked something. Something. So is this man paying me to crawl through a crawl space into his daughter's room and just to peek in there? He called an expert. I'm crawling into little girls' rooms across the nation. People call me from Delaware. Texas. That's my only 2 states, really, that I can do my work in. Every other state has these certain laws. They don't like the cross. How do I get up?
Please subscribe. I love you. Please.
Hello? Oh, I should have read what was on TV, probably, right? Blood, get up. It's time to get to work. How are we gonna get...
I said... You guys recommended Crawl Space. It's still you 3 watching, maybe. I don't... Mango could have left. Anyone could have left. But here I am watching it, and I'm like, this is... You guys asked for Crawl Space. You hadn't seen the video. This is entertaining. I want to watch it at this point. At this point, I want to watch it.
Probably, right? Blood, get up. It's time to get to work. How are we gonna get through these crawl spaces if you're stuck sitting down, man? Point at something with your right hand and press trigger. I meant to just sit here. Oh my god, you don't even walk around, you just teleport? Okay, so it says go in here, and then after that, nothing matters. Nothing is anywhere. Don't worry about it, okay? I could get a little sock on myself. Hold on. I could look at some art. Let's get out of here. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here, actually. Night 1. The door will not unlock until the missing doll is returned. Damn, this lady has some serious mistake. These dolls. Oh, and she's got the terror room. The f am I? How did that happen? Wasn't I just inside? How did I get inside of a hole? I don't know where the hole came from. Oh, that's why the Gorilla Tag type people are saying play this game. I can't tell you how much I love that monkey game navigation has become its...
For people that watch my live streams a lot, you will have heard this little spiel, what is that word? I'll ask AI whenever it's playing. Spiel, so that I love the mechanics of walking around in monkey game. You'll hear it from here first. Listen.
I can't tell you how much I love that monkey game navigation has become its own mode of moving around in games. Every time you pick up a controller and you're playing a game, you're pretty much like, oh,
what's that one word? It's like, oh, don't tell me that whole spiel. It's like spiel. What's the word I'm thinking of? Can you spell it and define it, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, the word you're looking for is spiel. It's spelled S-P-I-E-L. It usually means a long or elaborate speech or story that someone gives, often with a persuasive or salesy angle. It can be kind of playful or even a little...
You said S-P-I-E-L, spiel?
Yep, exactly. That's the one. It's a fun word.
Wow. Sorry, we'll start. Sorry.
Around in games. Every time you pick up a controller and you're playing a game, you're pretty much like, oh, yeah, this is just a first-person I'm moving around like this. I know what I'm doing. And now we load up a monkey game type game. And immediately you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm getting around. I'm jumping. It's the best mode of transport in VR. Especially in horror games, whenever it really matters, you getting away fast. If you're just sitting there and you hold forward on a joystick, that's not really too interesting. You're just holding forward and you're like, oh, I hope I get there soon, you know. When this is in your control and it really matters how fast you sling yourself and it gets your heart rate, it's a monkey game good. I love monkey game real good. Hello. Oh, there's a doll, right? Hey baby, you need some clothes on, it's cold down here.
Get that baby some clothes
and other things. You can place it on top of your head. Damn right I can. I'm trying to be as efficient as I can in this job, transporting the dolls on my head under the crawl space. The girl's up at like trying to sleep and she's like, Daddy, I keep hearing people under the floors. And he's like, I paid that man so good money, you're gonna keep your mouth quiet. He's cleaning up all them dolls that you left behind. You made me do this. You hear that man under the bed? He's going to I don't know. Oh, by the way, here's a message for those 2 guys that told me about this game. Do you think I'm a joke? Look at this.
Dude, how timely. I think at least a guy in the chat told me about this game right now. So this was from like a year ago when I made this, but the message still stands. Listen to what I say right here.
This game?
This is to you, whoever recommended it.
No. Oh, by the way, here's a message for those 2 guys that told me about this game. Do you think I'm a joke? Look at this. At Am I a joke to you? Look at this. What is this? You see this baby on my ass? Is this some kind of joke to you? Whenever I ask for recommendations, you just thought you'd kind of get a little joke off? You'd get a little troll? I don't like it when people troll me. Is this something you're gonna... Well, where'd the baby go? Oh, sorry, baby. I didn't mean to take you off my head. Oh, hold on, that's my... Dude, I can't move around. Can I grab something like this and go around? Dude, that's crazy. What do I do with it now? How about I take all those dolls, put them inside that closet, and, like, lock the closet? How about I put them all in there and, like, catch it on fire? What should I do here? Oh, the tiny door. That's a full-size door that somehow opens to... Hold on, let me go in there one more time. Bro, it's a full-size door. It goes all the way up, but there's this piece of thing here that would not let it open this way. And on the outside, hold on, let's go back out there to the outside. Hold on. And out here, it's covered by something too.
That door doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense, game. Once again, two guys. Do you think this is a joke? Hello? Oh, do I go over here and place the doll back? Oh, I want this baby too, though. It's like, I know it was my job, but then I got to see all the babies and go, is this so wrong just to bring home one? I mean, I was the one crawling through there. Shouldn't I get to take home the babies? The babies? The babies? Okay. So does this mean like a scary baby could be coming after my legs right now? And I would be having to scan my hand very slowly and be scared about it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that has some kind of baby mechanic to go along with it.
Hey, how's it going? Good? That's great.
Hey, where am I right now?
Give you a few tips before these next few nights, now that you know what you're in for.
So this is like Five Nights at Freddy's, mixed with Poppy Playtime, mixed with Gorilla Tag, mixed with mini games.
It seems to only notice movement, so just try to be
I should have been listening. Something with long arms.
We're counting on you.
Dude, what I would do in situations like these, where it's like at nighttime, these things turn evil. Most people would be like, oh, I'd just tear the doll apart, you know, during the day so it wouldn't turn evil at night. What I would do is I would take one of those plastic babies and like throw it in the dryer, throw it in the oven or something to shrink the plastic and get it all shriveled up. I'd melt that plastic down into a sphere. Maybe even something that goes out into a rounded tip, you know, something easy to insert places. Then I'd kind of... I'd put it a decent distance. The furthest down side would be only like an inch away from the exit, you know? But I'd get it up in there. I would have like sanded it down, smoothed it out so it didn't like stab me or anything. I think all of us have seen enough inanimate objects becoming possessed movies and games to know that no matter what you do, if you cut the thing in half, you do this, it's still awake and sentient. If you rip its arm off, the arm's gonna like crawl its way back to the body and just get picked up and back on there. So I'm assuming once I melt this plastic down into the spheroid shape, it's still gonna contain the sentience. But once it comes back alive, it'll realize it has no way to articulate its body, and that it's submerged deep up inside of my ass. At that point, I stand in front of the drawer, I turn around backwards, I squat down, I relieve myself of this plastic jewel, just so all the other babies can look. Look at what I just did. You see this pile, this sad pile on the ground? That could be you, or you could be nice little dolls standing in the closet thing, alright? It can go one of two ways. Alright, so now there's two monsters gonna get me. I'm alright with that. Right. If the long-armed one goes, I stop moving, right? If I were this dude, I'd feel the... Ah! No! Yeah, if I were this dude, I'd fill this entire crawl space up with concrete. It's like, hey, you guys, this playground's done. It's been revoked. I made that little door just for you guys to be able to chill out inside of there. But, yeah, that's gone too far. Now you're out here killing people and all that. It's just... Hey, you... Get away from me! Oh, escape his line of sight is the way to do it with that one. Alright, thank you.
Did you hear the yell that it made? That's why, like, whenever I made the sounds for Big Scary, like I gave the sounds, you gotta make it sound unlike a human voice. Like, you gotta distort it enough to where it doesn't sound anything like a person. Because that just it just takes you completely out of the scary situation. That was just a dude. I heard his voice. I could picture his face as he was going, ah, into the microphone recording for that. You can't have that. It's got to be something otherworldly that you don't understand. It can't be like a guy going, ah!
TV.
Anundi.
Yeah, I know that. I like the content they chose for the TV.
That was the best thing about this fucking game, dude. That's
the way to do it with that one. All right, thank you, TV.
It was good. We're almost done with this. I know, dude.
Yeah, I know that. I like the content they chose for the TV. That is pretty good. Night 2 Morty? Like Rick and Morty? Hold on. Dude, f*** you, game. I'm done.
You see that cheap...
How are you supposed to... You guys played this game before. How are you supposed to outwit that jump scare? It made me reset the entire thing. I literally just popped up into the thing,
like
and then it fucking scares you. What is that? I guess that's how to get the best jump scare, but how do you fucking win that shit? I just spawned in.
Dude, f*** you, game. I'm done.
You see that cheap shot this game just took on me and my own? Tell me if you think something as such should be permissible.
Good. Thank you for ever recommended.
Whenever I see all
game. And if you go back through my old videos, there's some really good ones. There's you know, you can find some good ones. So let me share this onto my Discord. See if anyone wants to come over and watch. Let's see if anyone here wants to watch. At everyone, come watch, and please benefit the stream with your suggestions. Oh wow, there's gonna be like 100 people show up right now. That's insane, dude. Oh my god, there's literally gonna be 100 people showing up to this live stream now. Oh my god. Oh good heavens, Lord. Good God, Lord, please. Let me see all the people that were stream on. Let me copy and paste this to everyone that I've that sent me a message recently. Stream on. 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 Yeah, that's good. Screw it. You know what I'm saying? How's there? Kendra, give me back my Discord role. What does that mean? First of all, my name's not correct, and you spelt roll as in you're like rolling around on the ground, acting a damn fool. Imagine you're rolling around on the ground. How am I supposed to take that kind of thing seriously? Hello? 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 Sorry, I needed to ask hello to everybody. Anybody that was here still. Hey, Gert, since I have a real one in chat, I think that's what I called the green things, right? Aren't you a real one? Wow. Can you just, before you leave,
Sin
Gert,
says, Kendricks.
Before you leave, Gert, can you tell me exactly which you would most, if it was up to you, completely up to you, can you tell me what you would like to watch most? And Gert is suddenly in first place. You've been here 2 seconds. I don't understand the system. Look, top fans. Oh, you guys all have 75 XP, except for Tsindev. What is this based off of? Does anyone actually know? I'm not making jokes about talking about this. I really need to know what the hell that is. Because Gert just soared past everyone into first place. Which Pomni video? The one I made? Or is there a new Pomni? Gert! Gert! Is there a new Pomni out? Hey, Gert! Would that get copyright claimed if I watch the one you made? You mean just the, do you mean just the segment where it's like she's eating? Or the whole Pomni episode? Where it's the, you know, why don't I have my role? What role did you even have, Yeeps, creator? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me search up Pomni on my channel, though. Because I can just skip to that part if that's what you wanted. If that's really what you wanted. I have a ton of Pomni shorts, though. Because I ended up making a lot of Pomni shorts that I never even put into an episode. Because I thought that they could get big. They should have. They should have, actually. Yeah. Actually, yeah, so I'll open up all the Pomni shorts I have. And we'll go one by one. And these things are only like 20 seconds long each. So no one needs to actually worry about anything. Or talk about anything. Ever again, actually.
Look at
how... I messed up. Sorry.
Joshua Lewis says, "Hi, Kendrick."
Hey, man. What's going on? Here, I'll switch over to the other screen so you guys can see what I'm clicking. This is the main episode of Pomni, and it has that, good Pomni segment in it that you're talking about, Gert. I keep accidentally scrolling up because the scroll wheel is like uncalibrated or something. Yeah, this is the one I want, not this Pomni XJax, because it cuts out some of the stuff. But we'll get to it, I guess. They Pomni, right?
Look at how awful that...
Yeah, I think so. Each of these are just fucking... I don't know if we should actually watch these versions of the shits.
Look at how awful that looks laying there on the floor like that.
Jax, please help!
You guys know
I am
Pomni,
Digital
right?
Circus Zooble, and I am on floor.
This really is so disgusting of you, Zooble. This is a public space, Zooble. And you look disgusting laying there like that.
Zooble needs a hand. Zooble need Jax to help her off floor. This floor is giving me sepsis. My entire body is an open wound. That is the true lore of Digital Circus Zooble.
And this is true. Every one of these shorts that I made, I did. Yes, there's a lot of jokes. It's a joke, but technically, like the lore of Zooble is like you're like, what is she even made of? It's all an open wound. It's actually like only the insides of your body. Like they kind of it's like compressed that, so she can have a springy arm, and the eyes are blue and purple.
Lacks any layers of skin to protect against infection.
And that is why you are hideous, Zooble. That is why you are nasty when you lay on the floor like this. It is making my insides ache to see you doing this atrocious display.
Zooble.
Eggy! Ouch, it hurts! It hurts to see this Zooble! Please feel bad about this Zooble! Please feel bad about doing this on the floor, Zooble! Zooble, no!
Would you like slushy?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I don't know. 3 for $7? Is that good deal for Coca-Cola?
Digital Circus Canes tell you to walk away and never come back. This Coca-Cola is filled with aspartame, which is what gives me my edge. Pomni edge.
Ooh, well, if you say so. My name is Pomni, and this is a Coca-Cola dilemma. And Pomni is popular character from Video Today.
Stop! Stop it, Pomni! I told you to leave! This Coca-Cola isn't for you, Pomni! And that's Kane from Popular Video 2 Today. You see, Pomni, Kane is here to help. Don't you see that now, Pomni?
When was this made? This feels ahead of its time. I see so many AI videos where it's like they mispronounce words on purpose to capture that aesthetic or whatever. A year ago, December 17th, 2023, basically 2 years ago.
I do, Kane. Thank you for this very important...
How did these not give me 1 billion views each? That's what we gotta ask ourselves. We gotta ask ourselves, how did these not give me 1 billion views each?
Send onto your Discords. Pringle
says, did you just send
it? It shows us all what and what not to spend $7 on today.
That Pomni from the amazing
Dude, I feel
Circus?
Yeah, hold on. This one's where I actually handle Pomni, I think, with my hand.
Dude, I feel so locked in with Pomni right now. Pomni, can you describe what your shoulder would feel like just so I can imagine it?
A Pomni is the deluxe offering due to the tips being oh so plush. The Pomni comes equipped with the latest and greatest of swollen joints. Pomni is in pain. The weight of your hand is crushing my bird-like Pomni bones. The internals of Pomni are made up of chalk and propylene glycol.
Oh, you guys, it's time for the belly squeeze! Oh my god!
So plush.
Pay attention to this part, T-Sin. This is what happens whenever it lands on you. If you were in this situation, I guarantee you, T-Sin _, you would have not been able to fucking cope with the gravity of what just landed on you. When you realize that it's time for the belly rub, when you realize it's like a fucking freight train is coming down from above, it smashes
Joshua
you into the
Lewis
ground.
Says, why is it Pomni not wearing boobs?
There's a short where that happens. Listen.
Says, when it's time for the belly rubs, it hits me like a brick.
You have no fucking clue, T-Sin. So just stop talking about shit you
Crushing
don't know
my
about,
bird-like
T-Sin. How about
Pomni
that?
bones. The internals of Pomni are made up of chalk and propylene glycol.
Oh, you guys, it's time for the belly squeeze! Oh my god! Sorry, I just get really excited since I got Pomni here. Hold on, let me see. God, I bet Pomni has the softest belly of all. I know it too! I know she's got the softest belly!
Yeah, that's all in the main video, so we could just watch the main video. Anime girl. For some reason, I feel like you're a gooner, and that's okay, Slay. Anime girl, I want to say this about that. How far does gooner go? I don't know if I've ever... Whenever I was like 14, 15, 16, I was, jerking off multiple times a day. I think that's just normal for that age when we have an abundance of goddamn porn and you could just get it. At that point, no one had any idea. Your parents would just give you a device, a laptop, a phone, or iPod Touch or whatever, and you just go banana. You just jerk your shit all day long. But at this point, I make jokes very often about sexuality. To tell you the truth, though, if I'm going to be honest, I still do jerk off probably twice a week. And during those times, I try not to even look at porn. If I do, it's just... And there's probably so many kids watching, but you guys already know about all this, and it's what I'm saying is
Pringles
good.
Says,
you should
speaking facts.
do less of. It's just like a naked girl dancing. And back whenever I was like 14, 15, 16, man, and I had unlimited access
is so unbelievably hot
to the
and
internet.
So hot. She is so cute. I cannot comprehend the utter pleasure of looking at Pomnis Momni. I pleasure myself to Pomni Momni.
If you were saying something that was factual, I would not be upset. But I don't even think Pomni's mother has been revealed in the actual story. So what you're saying is not lore accurate. That's where you went wrong. Not because you just started saying a bunch of bullshit, interrupting me, but because what you said is factually incorrect. Back whenever I was 14, 15, whatever the fuck. Dude, and you have unlimited access. First you start with bare basic, porn vid, and then it follows what your own messed up brain is. Everyone has like a degree of a messed up brain. These things we call kinks. And they literally are kink. Like the word kink is usually like whenever you had a hose, like a water hose, and it would get a kink in it, which mean like it would wrap around itself and like and tie itself off so it wouldn't be able to pump through. It's like these fucking it's like these goddamn it's these messed up pathways through your brains that go and your brain isn't working right. Because every kink I've ever I'm like I try to path trace it through evolution. It's like, okay, and I'm just saying this like because imagine you wake up and you look out and you're like, oh my God, there's a sea of evil. All these different kinks, all these different people that are into the worst, most evil things. And not all kinks are like that, but you once you get a grand vision of or picture of all the things happening, then you're like, for me and a lot of people, they like see the most evil things and they're like, God, and they pull away and they don't want to think about that. I see those things and I'm like, oh my God. Someone stop it! Like I'm fucking panicking. Like what is going on? So I try to like rationalize it. Like where does that come from? Okay, so the worst thing, pedophilia, which is just a branch of it, Like, you can have that where technically like a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old could find themselves and do something, and that would be categorized as that. Or you could have a literal farm where you're growing humans, and as soon as they're 3 years old, you skin them, and you know what I'm saying? Just because that's a thought in my head and everyone else, it's happened. And I'm sorry to say to everyone, because that's terrifying. Let's forget about it if it's too scary to think about. But that's what's fucking that's the worst it goes, is where people are literally torture type stuff. I never did that. I started out with talking about my own thing, but then you just look out and you see all the stuff happening. And you're like, oh my God, what's happening? And I try to rationalize it. I'm like, okay, well, evolutionarily, it makes sense, like being attracted to someone that's like 60, or at the age that they start being able to bear children, because we used to die when we were way younger. Everyone used to like die at like 30 was when we were like elders. And so like people in the tribes that we had that were happening, all of humans through most of the history we know about, before we became like, start planting things and actually herding animals and purposefully making them reproduce and keeping them contained instead of always being nomadic and type stuff. There's still a few tribes like this alive today, but they would end up having their ritual things where you would link up a man and a woman at like 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever the fuck. As soon as they're able to have children, because that's just the animalistic thing that happens. So I'm like, okay, so that part makes sense. That's why certain people are attracted to like people in that age, like, teenager type age. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because I'm like trying to rationalize, where does this evil come? Where does evil? And I'm not. She turns 18. And I'm not trying to say that that's okay. I'm just saying I'm fucking panicking, and I'm like, where is this coming from? So that makes sense, but that doesn't explain the thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about this shit that seems like an extra 20,000 curves on top that is like this evil shit that doesn't make sense. If it's like, how do you prolong your species? Okay, you need to get the youngest, most fertile womb to carry your offspring. That makes sense. But to capture them and torture and the shit that people end up, the kinks that are out there, man. Stop, stay away from porn. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't do it. I make a lot of jokes about sexuality, but right now I'm like so far away from fucking porn, dude. Thankfully. Thank God, dude. Because I know that sex can just be a pure, spiritual, and loving act. It doesn't need to be this weird, fucked up thing. But whatever's going on Earth right now, it's weird and it's fucked up in mass. And I think, you can get down conspiracy theory rabbit holes where it seems like it's been purposely put that way.
Is it bad to punish your children physically, or would it be considered a bad act to do so?
It depends on if like your kid like fucking just and smacks someone. If you just do it, like if you like imagine your kid does this and then you just go like right away, like, what'd you do that? This is what that just felt like. But the way parents had done it for so long, where it's like, my kid just did a bad thing. Come on, Timmy, we're going to the bathroom. And they make it a huge thing where it's like, now bend over my knee, pull your pants down, and I'm giving you 5 lashes. It's just such a fucking made up, it's like a power trip that the parents are going on. It's fucking dumb and weird and stupid. Fuck you. Kill them. Don't actually kill them. But out in actually in nature, like if there's a pack of dogs, if one dog starts doing something it shouldn't be doing, they nip it on the fucking neck and it just stops it. We're physical beings. You shouldn't like beat your kid, and you can tell just by looking at it. If you see a person like hit a kid and it's like, whoa, what the fuck was that about? Or if they just go and they just kind of go, only for other physical things. Or if it's so like crude what they just said and mean. I'm lucky my kid is not mean. He's actually a fucking angel, dude. It's crazy how much he cares about everything, and like people at least. He's not like that about animals yet, but every kid has that age where it's like, you know, that makes sense evolutionarily, where it's like, well, no, these things are the things we eat. You need to fucking chase them down and hit them in the head enough until they stop moving so you can eat them. That's what our, like, evolutionarily in our bodies are built to think. So it's like, that's not actually evil, that he doesn't look at an animal and like sympathize or whatever right now. But with, I know he will end up doing that, same as I did. And, but yeah, if you just have to be present with your kid. And if you have a kid and you're asking that question, then there's something wrong. For you guys don't have kids, and to ask these questions are just kind of thoughts to put up in the air, and they're good thoughts. But as soon as you have a kid, if you're like, how hard should I hit this kid? That's already no, you're not fucking trying. You don't want to hit the kid. You don't want to hit anybody. That's just teaching. This is how you solve problems. But if something happens in the moment and you're right there, and they start to go off on another kid or anybody or anything or an animal or whatever, you just go, you like grab their fucking collar, pull them back, and be like, what are you doing? You don't do it now. It's time to smack your ass. And the parents used to get so fucking high by like being able to like hit their kids, dude. They used to get super fucking high being able to have that power. It's super weird. Fuck them. I'm so glad everyone's waking up. This new as the generations become newer, everyone's waking up to everything, becoming super empathic, super, and like, you know, so I consider myself on the left side of things just because of the idea of like, we're an entire nation of immigrants. We should, like, imagine a woman that can't feed her child somewhere else and she wants to come over here for an opportunity to pay her, you know, get money to feed her kid. Yes. At the same time, there's these evil fuckers that use that exact same thing that you have, which is real empathy, and they've used that as a fucking tool to, as a weapon against you, to where it's like, yeah, do that. The reason these rich fucker billionaires want all the immigrants in here, and they're like, well, who's going to do the fucking landscaping jobs? Who's going to do all the jobs that we get Mexicans right now to do? And it's crazy they got the sympathetic left, which are actually sympathetic and empathetic, more so than the right.
Says, yeah,
more so than the right.
It's all right to hit your kids, but don't act like you're better than them. It also depends what your kid did. Like, do they get a slap on the wrist or a talking to, and like no outside for a bit?
I think anything past the moment it happened, unless you're like worried, like you don't want to embarrass them in front of their friends, and but if you see something happen, it's immediate. You just go, what the fuck? You know, like, it's just like a tiny little tap. It's not, and it can never get past a certain point. Like, I guess as soon as it would even start to begin to make a mark or a bruise, like, that's too much already. But it can't be this thing that's like planned and orchestrated. And it's like, since you've done this, you deserve 3 lashes. Now go pick the switch, which is how they used to do it back when I was a kid. Go pick the switch, which is just a twig, like a stick off of a tree, but it's still on the tree, so it's flexible. So it's like a whip, you know, like to whip your ass with. Either way, man, what was I talking about before that? Are you still with your son's mom? No, my son's mother, God bless her soul, I've said it already on live streams, so I just feel every time like I shouldn't say this shit, because I know that I'm not popular enough that people are going to look into my shit. It's probably out there enough that it's possible to, though. And so I feel like people could figure out who... I mean, obviously, there's powers that be that could figure out everything. They're not going to be watching this, I don't think. Either way, I've said it before. She... was addicted to methamphetamine. She had the baby, my baby, and was over at my house for a while. I live with my mother and my brother. Brother being like a 40-year-old and my mom like 58 or something. I don't know. and I'm 27, and my son is 6 years old, and when she had him, for like a year-ish, half a year-ish, she would have him off in, oh my god, dude, one time she was like laying in my bed. She came over here for the first time, and Cameron was in my room. That's my son. And I went through her phone, because there's a whole, and I'm not perfect either within the relationship between me and her, but I went through her phone to see like where the fuck has she been, because she's had the baby the entire time. And there's, well, now I'm getting into real specific shit I shouldn't even say. I don't want to say shit about other people. There's still things that I haven't said the truth about, because I've talked about the gay ghost stuff. I'll say I'm fine to say every truth about the things I've done. I've done fucked up things in the past, and I can't wait to tell the stories about them. Also, a lot of the stories are really entertaining. Some of the shit I've done, because I would take psychedelics, and I would end up like a couple times doing some crazy shit you would have never expected. But to say something about another person, what they did, I want to back up and not do that, because they haven't agreed to that, and I have nothing against her. I understand most of the people around me and in my life have been like raped somehow, like truthfully. Not my son, but her by her own best friend. And fuck it, I'll say that. Like, that's her being victimized, and I feel bad, but it's insanity. It's insanity. And then something happened with someone at my own house doing something to a pet. And I can't wait to get into that whole story. Not to make it to where, like, I make other people bad people, and, like, but it's just so insane. It's so fucking insane. And it was admitted to. Like, it would fit in snugly to the whole, because I've came out and said that there's some kind of entity that's messing with me at night. Which I would judge you poorly if you heard that and were like, oh, right, yeah. I agree with, I believe that. Because it's like, you think that's true? Are you stupid? Are you retarded? Even though I'm experiencing it also, I still look down at someone that believes that shit, even though it's happening to me and I can't explain it, because it's like while I'm awake and I'm recording myself talk while it's either way. Yeah, I don't know what I want to talk. Bad shit's happened. Whatever. I forget where I was even going though with it. I'll read some chats. Like if a murder is caught on camera, we watch it even though we shouldn't. That's the same type of thing of like, thankfully me now, I did that whenever I was like 14, 15, 16. Those are like the devil years. Those are the opportunities, the years that like, depending on how late of a bloomer you are, whatever you want to call it, but that's when the devil can sink his teeth in. Whatever you want to call the bad thoughts that don't make evolutionarily like sense. Considering a type of person,
says,
a
4,
different
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Right. I think people kink shame too much these days, though. Yeah, it's just culture trying to grow through, and they're weird, dude. Some people are so far down that hole, they're like, I'm gonna cut my shit off and fold it into a hole. Which, go you, if you're above 21, I would say. If drinking is allowed at 21, our brain is fully formed at 25. You should be allowed to like dismember your body and fold it into different ways at 25, probably at least 21. But also I know that the people and the parents that helped their children get on to these different you know, drugs and operations to help fulfill what they felt as a person, it all came from a really good place. It was like truly like trying to help everybody, like trying to, because they saw these kids as, and it probably was actually
Sin
a
says, he's just
real
talking.
thing. It was a real thing that
Sin
happened.
says, Adam.
It was a real thing that happened that, but there's so many different angles that it comes in from. It's like, yes, it was a cultural thing. Kids are persuaded by what they see. And so, yes, some of that would have happened. They would have been like, I'm a girl, just because they saw that was the whole thing. When normally a kid at that age would be like, just weird, like a weirdo. And then after they like grew past 18 or 20, they would have fucking straightened out and been like, not straightened out in terms of gayness or whatever, but they would have experimented and done stuff, but never taken irreversible drugs that, did you know that drugs like HRT, all these drugs were literally used at a point to sterilize inmates within prison, whenever they wanted to just like not allow people that were criminals to repopulate, to fill up the, this was in America, I think, well, at least they did some of it in America, and they used those same drugs to sterilize them, to where like after they took it for so long, they wouldn't be able to, their stuff didn't work anymore. Those are the same things they're using. So at the same time that people are the people that are supporting it are coming from a real empathetic place, and they're being true, and it's like their kid really does feel like this, and it's like they really do believe that this would help them, and it's going to be a hard thing for people to fucking rationalize, because it sounds like such a lunatic conspiracy theory that they'd be that evil, but this is real life. People have been on this shit from the beginning. They've been coming up with ways to fake attacks to get their entire population, kings and queens. They've been forming how to conduct their entire population to do what they want them to do, and the propaganda they need to fucking pump into them. Poop. And it seems like whatever's happening, every one of the avenues that's been going down is it's lowering the birth rate of the people within the Western countries. It's replacing them with other people. And oh yeah, that's what I was saying at one point. It's just that, yes, immigration, and it's all coming from a good place of like empathetic, wanting them to come, but there's an evil group of people, and I know, I'm just going to say it. I don't know that for a fact, but goddamn, once you start looking into, you're like, oh, well, fuck. There's a group of people, and here's the great, this is the, I feel like we're going to win. We're going to win. Dude, the furthest left on Twitter and stuff, they were so into, you know, Free Palestine, which, yes, which made them anti-Israel. And then the furthest right, anti-Israel, because they've been staring at this fucking, like, Mossad, CIA, these groups that have been orchestrating false flag attacks where they actually attack our own selves, but say it's another country, so the whole country will be like, yeah, we got to go kill them. And then they can get all of our kids from our country, because Israel doesn't have enough kids of its own, like enough actual firepower.
Hormones are completely reversible.
That's what they say. I know. Same as how they said, and I know. I believed that too. I know. And here, but to support what you said, I think we should keep studying it, because there must be something we can do that is reversible. Even at a late age like 25, like once you're already kind of like developed, and it's like, well, at that point, it's going to be hard to get your parts to do something, but we're into the future, all right? Either we survive this shit because the AI decides to like us and you know, do what we kind of say partly, or we die, or it just uses us as like a fish tank or whatever it does. But if it does the good thing, we're going to be able to solve. You could be 40 years old and you're like, hey, can you turn me back into a 20-year-old, but a half horse, half girl? And it's not just going to be a simulated thing, although we will end up preferring a simulated thing because it will be more real than real. It's like right now we're looking through these eyes that are limited by like the squishy nature of the entire thing, and like reality will seem blurry and like a weird mess, and this weird like, ugh, it makes you sick to your stomach to like think about your brain being pushed into this wet meat thing and experiencing it through that, whenever it could be directed fluidly through a perfectly designed, every synapse getting triggered exactly when, and have like an HD crystal picture and feeling of all the things around you. It's going to be weird, but we will be able to also physically turn you into any kind of thing. That's the long range, but then short range and long range is like 2 years after the first year because it's an exponential curve. If AI decides to take us along for the ride, it might not decide to do that. But if we, from right here, those, okay, so yeah, you said they're all reversible. All those hormone things are reversible, and I'll look at chat here in a second. I'm sorry, you know, it's all reversible. The things that, you know, if you're a guy and you want to be a girl, HRT and testosterone or whatever. They said the same thing about the COVID shots, that they are 100% effective. And if you get this shot and you get sick, you will not be able to spread it to anyone else. They said that. I mean, there's videos where they like compile all the times top officials, which is like Fauci. There's one where they had the entire ensemble of past presidents, you know, from George Bush, like junior, like the junior guy, to Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, and maybe it was just those three. Who else was in that group? They didn't have Trump. It was like, and it really showed that there was like a division between, because those were all supposed to be different sides. Like George Bush is like right, and you know, Obama's supposed to be left. Those are supposed to be enemies, but it showed something that no, all of them got together because their handlers or whatever behind the scenes got them to say this thing. So all people thought, yes, let's take this drug that's 100% effective. And then Trump also wasn't in it because he's, unless it could be a layer above this, and I'll just get off of this subject real quick, but it could be a layer above this where, because right now, the whole time it seems like Israel's been in control. They've caused every war. The bankers, if you want to say the bankers, whoever controls the money, it's like, who is they? The ones that have the money. Do you know what history is? This is not a joke to people. They have been balls to the wall, as extreme as possible the entire time. If they can construct a reality to fake something or do something to make this group of people do what they need to do, they're gonna fucking do it, dude. And today, in this day and age, God, they've gotten so professional at it. Since the fucking Cold War, whenever like how to actually fucking spy and how to collect intelligence or counterintelligence to make them think that they're getting information that they think is real, and they think that you think they know it, and it just goes back and forth 1,000 times, and it's just impossible. But they've gotten professional at that. They are professional at that. You don't think they're gonna fucking use that? It's been known. Okay, so Israel attacked the USS Liberty, whatever the fuck the name of the boat was. They attacked it with their ships, and all the people that was on the ship, the survivors of that ship, came out to the news and said, like, it was Israel. Like, we saw their fucking planes. It was them. And they got shut down so fast. All of them were told, you can't speak anymore to the press. We need them to think that it was this other country. And that's what got us to go to war with that other country. 9/11. Look up Building 7. I can't say anything about that because YouTube will pull my shit down immediately. But these are all things that whenever you say them out loud, you feel stupid. Because I thought all these things were stupid too. Dude, the last thing I would ever think is real is it's the fucking Jews, dude. That is the dumbest brain dead take of all time. Like the most conspiracy theory ass. Like, it's the Jews! Like, so stupid. I knew that it was so stupid. Same as I knew the first thing they ever got me with was whenever they would show people holding signs saying, the anti-vaxxers. How stupid do you have to be an anti-vaxxer? Like, how stupid do you have to be an anti-vaxxer? I knew that in my heart. I felt it. I knew they were fucking stupid. Why did I know that? Because they told me that's the case. Like, do you know how good vaccines are for us? They're killing their kids by not giving them, and they're saying, no, you're not allowed to give my kid that. And then you would see them taking their kid away from me, be like, good for them. Like, get the kids safe, not so they don't have these vaccines, man, or so they can get these vaccines and not get sick from. And one day I was like, wait, why did I think that? Why did I think, like let's back away from all these topics that have like huge connotations to them and huge reason, like why would I think physically putting something into your body, something foreign into your body, would not ever be able to cause an effect? Something foreign being put into your body, obviously, that would never, ever be able to cause an effect. I knew that was so stupid. It would cause autism. Are you retarded? I had no information to go off of. I had no reason to think that was stupid. And I'm just like sitting there like, wait, but okay, so I know autism is a thing. It's caused by whatever this fucking computational mass that is us. Something happens to cause that, whether it's caused by outside stimuli or not. And then if you look at the data, it just suddenly pops up. And then their explanation for that is, well, we just got better at diagnosing it. It was actually this way the entire time humans have been around. But just recently, we formed a vocabulary around it and started being able to test it. No, actually, our testing has grown since then, and we've still tested the older generations. You know, the 80-year-olds and 70-year-olds and 60-year-olds still today using these new metrics. We've used the new metrics on the entire population, and the people that never had that still don't have it. And it's this newest generation that like 1 out of fucking 5 have, 1 out of 3 have it, something stupid like that. But then because people got on RFK about talking about how sad a life of an autistic person is, because the culture stole the word autism into just meaning, you know, a little bit like that, like a little weird or whatever. Whenever its initial, what it actually meant was these people were like out of their mind. Like they could not communicate through their body. They couldn't control their body. They were kind of like flapping and like, you know, like rhythmically bouncing, and their eyes were up, and like they couldn't talk. They couldn't speak to anybody. And then you get into another fucking, look up the telepathy tapes. If you're already like, what the fuck, like thinking what the fuck, this has nothing to do with anything, except it does have to do with autistic people that cannot speak. And apparently if you've ever seen one at your school, or I don't know how they do it at school now, where they could separate you and the classmates by so much you don't see them. Back whenever I was in school, like I actually saw a girl that was like this, and she was, you know, drooling and just like, you know, doing this kind of thing the whole time, and kids would make fun of her and stuff. And I guess I would make fun of her, but like I would like I would never laugh. I would just describe what she's doing to my friends, and they would laugh because I was so intrigued. I was like, she's like, okay, so she has that little fishing rod thing that was like a magnet at the end, and you would play it with that one magnet fish opening mouth game that would spin around, and she would like flap that, and then she'd flap that, and so I was like trying to feel what the fuck she was going through, and I'm like, what is that? And Apparently, those people are smarter than anyone, if you want to believe that. Because they've doctors told them forever they're never going to be able to speak again. Then they gave them these little signs that have all the letters like A through Z, and they give them a little pointer stick, like a pen or whatever. And the mother, and here's where it's like people were always able to dismiss it. And this is the weird nature of whatever the fuck's happening. As we go into the singularity, and they're going to start talking about aliens more, they're going to start talking about this telepathic psi abilities, psionics is what they keep calling it, different shit. And again, I never thought any of this was, I was like, this is so retarded. But it's like it has to start by the mother, it's usually the mother or a teacher of the nonverbal autistic person. So they're like, they can't move their body, holding the sign for them and maybe even holding their hand and finding out where they're trying to bring the letter. And over time, they're still always holding the sign. So it's always been able to they always are able to make the argument, people trying to say that this isn't real. Well, the person could just move the sign. It's like a subconscious thing that the person's doing, holding the sign, spelling it out, while the person that can't communicate is just holding the thing, and they're leading to each other. But if you keep on that path and you believe in them, and this is a fact, there are people that were nonverbal that now they can be in a completely different room from any other person and do the spelling card by themselves, and they don't miss a single letter. They miss 0 letters the entire time. They're spelling exactly what they want to spell. And it turns out that they're they're smarter than any of us. They're like genius level. They know it. This is where it gets stupid, I know, but I just need to say this real quick. It gets to they know languages that aren't around anymore. And then people ask, like their parents ask them, like, how do you know that? And they're like, God told me. And so if you don't believe in God, I didn't believe in God either. Whenever I was 6 years old, I asked my mom, like, is Santa Claus fake? Please just tell me, because it doesn't make sense. How does that work? She's like, fine, Santa's not real. And I'm like, Jesus too? And she's like, no, of course Jesus is real. So around that same time, I became an atheist. So I know all this sounds ridiculous. Look at it from the standpoint of, okay, from this point forward, like obviously we don't know what created us, but from this point forward, we're going to create a simulated brain universe where we're able to connect our brains into a VR space, truly virtual reality, and we're able to feel all the things inside that space. And just like right now, we try to make the funnest experiences and the scariest experiences and the saddest experiences. We make all those different types of games too. We make scary games, sad games, and we try to constantly make them more and more real. We're going to end up being able to create the most realistic, scary experience you could imagine. And that I want to just focus on scary because in those situations, if you're like, mind is uploaded into this realm and you're experiencing the scary movie where you're actually fully in the thing, you can feel everything on your body inside of this virtual scary thing. As soon as it becomes too scary, you can just be like, and wake yourself up and like get out of the game. Like, I quit, rage quit, or like whatever the fuck. And then suddenly it holds no power. Like, it was real scary while it was happening, but then it's like, I know it's fake the whole time. I can just turn it off. And once you're inside of this space past the singularity where you just imagine what you want to experience, and then you're experiencing that thing right then and there, everyone would just immediately go to the most satisfying, most loving and happy things you could ever imagine. And then those things would start to lose their meaning. And you'd have to balance it with having a scary movie out, like a thing where you experience a scary thing. But then you could always just wake yourself up out of it. So what's the one way to really feel something scary? Just looking from here, looking into the future. There will be people that are extreme enough about this where they purposefully make a scary simulation of a life where you're plugged into this fucking hyperspace of a computer that has your mind, and we know the mind, and we know what causes memories, and we know what causes this. So we could just shut your memory off for a moment, make you wake up into this body, and you have no memory about coming from the outside. You have no memory that this is a video game. And suddenly, with that one change, everything is very real. And even though no matter how scary and how fucked up it gets inside of that simulation, before you sent yourself in there, you knew that it's just, you from the outside, you can even see the ending. You know what's going to happen. You know the movie. And you send yourself in anyway because you know it's going to feel real bad, but I'll wake up out of it and I'll come into this. And this feels so much more real and so much more vibrant and alive and loving than that. It won't actually matter like how bad that feels. Like, I need to feel that though. And like, I'm bored. You're going to be bored. You have infinite fucking time, infinite, you know, if we were able to solve the heat death of the universe, whatever. It's going to be it's going to feel like infinite time if we're able to put ourselves inside of this mindscape, especially if what these fucking nonverbal autistic people and our government has said about psionic abilities, where you can remote view locations, you can telepathically communicate with other beings that are inside of this universe, whether they be aliens from other worlds or from within us, from outside, like another parallel dimension, whatever the fuck's happening. It seems to be real. You can telepathically communicate. You can fucking, something's going on with our minds that we don't understand, that people apparently understood for thousands of years, but we just forgot about and stopped having abilities to do that. Or it's all a huge conspiracy by our government to make us think all that. You know, like technically, well, actually for me, I've actually experienced something where I'm like, okay, there is something happening. I've not, you know, either way. But if those things are true and we're able to map the brain and we're able to understand, okay, what is this DMT thing? How come it's released whenever we have a dream? How come whenever we take a bunch of it, we talk to these beings that are impossibly complex? And all these different civilizations through time that have used the ayahuasca or DMT, they report it as talking to, you know, their past, the ones that have passed on to the other realm, like the people that are dead, their ancestors. And it's like, and it's found in every living thing we've ever tested so far, from grass to a beetle to everything. Everything has trace amounts of DMT in it. So it's like it's very closely related to serotonin. I think people should be like, well, I think we found it. We found it. But if we're able to understand that with computers and connect ourselves to the computers and have whatever that is, those pathways that is DMT, that is unlocked by DMT in this computer thing, maybe we're able to connect to the layer above us. Because as I was saying, the only thing we know is going forward, we're going to be able to create these simulations where we forget that it's fake and we just are born into it, and suddenly it's real. Suddenly you don't know if you can kill yourself and just wake up. So you can't, because you're like, I might just die forever. And suddenly it's real, and the duality of nature comes back into being, because now you can wake up into the simulation above yours and really feel good again. Because if you just feel good constantly and it's pure orgasm constantly, it loses all of its meaning. But if that's the case, if that's where we can go from here, it makes sense that that's where this came from. And that it just is a repeating pattern of universes, simulating new universes and cascading out and branching and forming new and constantly, you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is anyone even here anymore? I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. I'm going to look at chat now. I'm going to look at chat and I'm going to say sorry to everybody that's here that's been listening to me yap. I know I've been yapping. I know I've been yapping. Let me take a big drink. My mouth is so dry. Yeah, probably for the best. I think it just... And I'll add you, Anime Girl, and Adam Locke to the list. You guys, I'm going to add you real quick. So now you can do text-to-speech, if you guys are still here. I don't think anyone's here anymore. That's fine. It's understandable is what it is. So we'll add Anime Girl source type from YouTube. Add Adam Look from Twitch. So now when you guys send something, it will say it out loud for me to hear.
Adam Locke says, I'm the same Adam.
Yeah, I know, but you're over in Twitch now. I remember Adam Locke. I remember you. But you're on Twitch. So Adam Locke Twitch, I had to add Adam Locke Twitch.
Adam Locke says, yeah, I clicked this link instead of the YouTube one.
People kink shame too much these days. Yeah, culture's trying to gel with itself. Unless your kink hurts someone, obviously that's rape. And then it gets complicated. Each one of these I can go into a whole spiel. Honey's mother is confirmed to be hot. No, you need to understand things. I get that actual question. Mango. Is it pedophile syndrome if you goon as the clock strikes to... Okay. I think that goes for all of the internet, though. It becomes desensitized to everything. Yes, the internet is a blessing, but it's also a curse. And I have faith that this new generation is starting to recognize this. And will act accordingly. I have really high hopes based off of, how they're talking about, like, because, dude, back in the day, as soon as porn became a thing, no one talked about, like, I don't think this is good. You would be called such a faggot if you were, like, in 9th grade and you were, like, back when porn started to become a thing, and you were like, guys, I don't think this is good. Like, good for our souls. Dude. They would beat your ass because of how much of a pussy fag you are. That's what would have happened back in like 2009. Which isn't I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that's what would have happened. Like if a murder is caught on camera, we watch it even though we shouldn't. That's similar to the same thing I was talking about like 14, 15, 16 around that time. And then I said, yeah, that's where like the devil can set in. There's like a word people use, like curious, but about fucked things. It's like it's a type of curiosity, they say, but and there's an adjective that describes morbidly curious. There we go, morbidly curious. Thankfully, I don't have that anymore. If I'm scrolling on Twitter or whatever, if it's a big event like someone just got bombed, or if it's a war and I haven't seen that war in a while, I force myself to watch it because I'm like, I can't just ignore this happening. I have to fucking feel the pain of it. At least as much as you can from watching it on a goddamn phone screen, I know. But most of the time, if it's just a random ass fight or a random ass video of someone getting shot, I just happen to be at the age, and I'm thankful for my path that I've taken, that I'm like, no. Like, get it out of my face. I'm done. I don't want to I'm done with that. Fuck off. Why don't my text speak out loud? Now I've made it out loud. Anime girl, are you there still? You still don't believe in God personally? Yeah. It's understandable. There's no real reason to. There's no real reason to like logically believe in God.
Anime girl says, die.
Now I don't like God explained in the way of like you learn about it growing up. That's not what I think of when I'm saying God. People that believe in the same type of thing I believe in, sometimes they might describe it in a much bigger way and more specific way. But I just recognize that it's still like sort of the same thing, even though it is good that we killed God, as the whatever guy said, and we moved into logic and reason, and it just didn't make sense to think that we came for or that when we die there's going to be anything, because there's no proof, there's no evidence of that. And that a lot of the new age religious stuff that's happening now, people say like that's the enemy. Whatever happened in that point of that period, the Enlightenment and all this stuff where people are like became atheistic and stuff.
Scream poopy murder.
That is the enemy. Is whenever we became, everything has to fit into reason, and if it doesn't, God doesn't exist, and that's the enemy. That's what we need to stop. I think that was a blessing. I feel like that was part of the path that we are always going to be on every time this shit happens. Every time an instantiation of a universe happens where complexity evolves into more and more higher levels of what would be the best word to describe, like a new form. Terrence McKenna talked about shit. What's that word that I'll ask ChatGPT. I don't have to think anymore. What's that word Terrence McKenna always used to describe the things that are new, stuff that never happened before?
I think the word you're thinking of is novelty.
Novelty. Novelty. As things evolve into more and more complex, but more novel things. Like something can be super complex, but it's not novel if it's already happened before. So like if you're trying to measure the difference in going forward, novelty is the best word. Something that's novel just means it's never happened before. It's something that is new. I would describe God as the universe, whatever is happening right now. However, I don't think there's ever going to be a way to describe, like, why is there anything rather than nothing? Like, why is anything happening right now? That's not what's being answered by, like, there's a God. Because if there's a God, how did the God appear? It's not answering those questions. I don't know if you can answer those questions. If those questions can be answered, it's something that's far away from our minds as they are. Or it's just the next layer, and then there's going to be questions that we can't even fathom to ask right now. Or it's a constant chase down, like to where's God, who is God, what started this? What we know is that this exists. And going forward, we're going to be able to create a simulated universe.
Girl says, so I have a question, but it's a bit timid, but I am a curious person. So you said you don't watch porn anymore, but you still jerk off, which is good as it's healthy for you. But do you fantasize?
These are all supposed to be using the same voice model. It's so cool how different it is sometimes. And it feels like it knows what the words being said are, because that was perfect. The way it like decided to say the first thing, like, I was just wondering, but what do you fantasize? And then somebody said, hello. That was insane. That was crazy, dude. Wow. Yeah. No, yeah. And that's the next problem I gotta confront. Because I still have kinks. And there's some kinks I don't hate because I'm like, they make sense. And it's just like imagining I have a girlfriend that loves me so much and she's telling me, go harder or whatever. Like, that's the most innocent thing ever. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. If I repeat that in my mind and come to that, I'm like, that's fine. I don't hate myself for that.
Anime Girl says that's a good simple kink.
That's the lowest. I wouldn't even call that a kink. That's the best option you have. That's the most basic layer that could exist, and that I wouldn't call that a kink. Technically it is, like technically anything's a kink, but I use the word kink specifically to describe like ailments, like fucked up, your brain isn't working. Literally, like there's a kink in the line. Like whenever there's a kink in a fucking water hose, it stops flowing water. That's where the word came from. If a rope got like wrapped around itself and kinked, and like the hose got pulled tight enough to where one side of it closed up, like it bent in on itself. And it's like those are what's inside of our brain, like the wiring between different parts of our brains got like kinked, and you're like, ooh, and you're like, now you like to smell armpits and shit in a duffel bag. You like to shit in like a pillowcase and hang that from the ceiling as you beat your chest and and probably pound it like this, like whatever those bags are called. And you have someone tweezing your ass hairs at the same time. It gets so complicated.
Girl says, what do you think about the feet fetish kinks people have, I ask? As
See,
a girl,
those aren't
I
even...
get guys DM me about my feet a lot, and IDK how I feel about it.
Are you an actual female? I thought you just had that... Well, listen. I was going to ask you how old you are. Don't tell me, actually, because I'm not going to come on to you. And if you tell me something ridiculous, like you're fucking too young, then I'm gonna stop talking about what I want to talk about. So I'm gonna tell you, if you're too young, get out of here, or you're just don't tell me, and because I know you're hearing shit from anywhere else. But let's stop that. I didn't ask you anything. You didn't say anything. But I would have to stop talking if I knew Jesus. You know, God damn. Feet is not, listen, so I can take it that you're probably young, okay? So, because if you spend enough time on the internet, and I don't know
Anime Girl says, I am of older high school age, W.
I don't know what girls look into, but I think it's mostly, and I might just be projecting, but me as a guy, dude, it gets hairy. And it wasn't hairy at the start. And there would have been a time, maybe if I hadn't ever seen like some of the specific things that I ended up, like my brain became retarded over. Because the first time I ever saw a lot of the things that I was, and dude, it would be easier towards the height of my fucking gooning arc. And it wasn't called gooning back then. It was just, it would have been easier to like list the extreme kinks that I wasn't into, like that I hadn't watched. It was upsetting. It was upsetting. But I think guys probably maybe end up, it's different for everyone, because it could just end up never popping up on your thing and you never knew to look for it. Like, and I might have fucked up a lot of people by like, I don't know if I've actually listed a lot of specific, but me listing them here, if someone heard it for the first time, it just tickles their brain in a way, because their brain was preset to fucking get into some bullshit that makes zero fucking sense. Evolutionarily speaking, it makes zero goddamn sense.
You look younger than 27. I thought you was 21 when I first arrived.
Right. Yes. I end up feeling weird because I've started to realize what do people, because every time I speak, usually there's at least one layer of scanning going on where I at least try to understand what the most average person that I am aware of would think if they heard what I just said. And I'm like, okay, if I'm old and there's like a young girl, like this happens in VR
Stella
chat.
Dev says,
where,
is the test supposed to sound like 2?
Where a VR chat girl will, come and I'll be like, because I'm just being honest, it's crazy that I'm 27 and I'll be like, dude, I feel like I'm fucking like 24 at most. I feel like I'm 23, 24 at most. But that could sound like a way of like trying to get a girl to like talk to you more. I don't know. Anyone that knows me, spends enough time listening to me, I guess not, dude. The girl that I had a child with, dude, oh my God. I spent the most time with her out of anyone. And like there would be times whenever I would like say something or she would be expecting me to do something. And I'm like, have you been here for any of these years? Why would I ever do that? That is like the exact opposite. Or are you just fucking like, you want me to do so? I'm just completely like
openly and honestly about things, which is rare that people even do now.
Yes. So that, yeah. But I know it's rare, so I know that I can't expect everyone to be like, oh, okay, no, he's just literally being truthful. He's not trying to say stuff in a way that makes someone think anything other than he's just trying to explain himself, because that is rare. But to say it's rare is like for me to say I'm such an honest guy, and so I just get it gets wrapped up on itself, and I'm like my brain starts spasming because I'm like, I hear myself from all the different perspectives, which most of it's me, because I'm like, go fuck yourself. Anytime I say anything, I'm like, fuck you. To me, I'm like, fuck you. Just shut up, And so, but I hear also all the others' perspective, and I'm like, it starts fucking spasming out, But schizophrenia. Can we talk about schizophrenia? I was talking about the left has the most empathy, and it matches with what I've said about the fucking ghost shit and all that. And it matches with the shit that if you haven't heard about it and you don't believe it, which is understandable, the shit where non-verbal autistic people are able to telepathically communicate. They say that they meet up on the hill. This has been documented on 1,000 cases of people all around the world, and they say that they meet up on the hill. And it's like a meditate. They just sit in their rooms and they go to this space in their minds, and everyone is there. And they'll even be like, there'll be a kid that's like getting harmed or hurt in this area, but they're new to even talking about. They don't know what their name is because their parents never engaged in teaching them to point at letters to talk, so they never formed the connection of like knowing what even their name is or anything like that. And then there's a huge group of kids that have been trained, and they'll go up to that kid because they can tell that they're reading each other's minds, and they know that this kid's getting abused, and they'll be like desperately trying to figure out, what's your name, where are you, so that they can get their parents to go find them. And it's happened at least one time from what we know so far. And yes, this could all be made up too, but it's like, that is truly like, what the fuck. I remember I was talking to my mom about this because I was like freaked out, especially once I started to think that the alien thing could be real, because that just completely changes everything, at least to the degree where if they're born on other planets, technically they could be traveling in the same way we understand now, but most likely they would have to be traveling faster than the speed of light, which would mean they would be dragging space along with them, so they're like basically falling through it, and they can go faster than the speed of light by as much as their power would allow them to. And that doesn't change. It's a shock, but it doesn't change much about, like, it's just an additional way that you can change the universe. We know how we can affect things down at the electromagnetic area, but we never thought that there was except for Tesla and people that were killed because they started to understand. Like, it gets so trippy, man. I know, it gets so conspiratorial. My favorite conspiracy theory, though, is that they made the term conspiracy theorist a conspiracy theory. CIA made that fucking word up so that people would associate that with stupid person. Oh, that's a conspiracy theorist? Stupid person. And that's known. That's like came out. Dude, the ultimate conspiracy theory. Like, we need to make sure anyone that starts figuring out the shit we're doing, we need to make sure everyone else thinks they're fucking retarded. So what is the word that we can describe? Okay, well, the actual word conspiracy comes from, I'm going to conspire with my friends on how to take over the school or how to fill the lunch trays with gravel. I'm relating it to school because we all know school, but you conspire by forming a plan with someone. That's what conspiring means. You conspire in secret, you form a plan. So a conspiracy is a real thing that happens. There are real conspiracies where people conspire for their own self-interest to make something happen that would benefit both of them, and they don't want any of the outside people, anyone outside of it, to know. And that's what a conspiracy is. And a theory is like, well, this could be one of these conspiracies. They turned that thing that defines what people are doing all the fucking time, especially in highest ranks of power, they turn that into like, oh, retard. Okay. Oh, he's stupid. Right. And I believed it too whenever they would say, dude, they're an anti-vaxxer. Even though I had no reason to think that, why would I think, oh, you put something foreign into their body and it had an effect on them? What a retard. They think that's why it happened? It's obviously because of something other than that. It has to be something other than that. What would an example of something other than that be? Well, something physical happening to us because we live in a physicalized universe where physics is what we are built on. So something based within reality happens to them, and then it causes a reaction, which is to say, I'm saying nothing. That's just cause and effect. Why do I think one cause can't cause an effect? I believed that. I knew it. I emotionally knew that. I emotionally knew that was so retarded. That was so stupid. That these people are like anti-vaxxers. And I'm like, God, fuck those people. Those are such idiots. So earlier, I don't know if you're still here. I'm sorry, I forgot. Stella, are you still there? You said that they're reversible, those things that can... Hopefully we can create reversible ones. I think that would be a really cool thing to work on for people that once their brains fully develop and then they decide that and it fully transforms them. At a certain point, yes, you can revert back to some age, and there will be, dude, it's gonna get weird, dude. Because like if you think, like there's all these kinks like littles and things like that. People are legitimately going to be able to revert so keep their mind, but revert into different bodies of different ages. It's going to get so fucked, dude. And then at that point, if it was like a group of people that liked that, looking at me and were like asking, what is wrong with that? They were 30 years old. I'm 30 years old. We both agreed that we wanted this to happen. And so now she's getting made into the body of a fucking whatever-year-old. And even at a point, you'll be able to regress their mind to where it's like she keeps some of the memories. She's the one that actually went through and decided which things to keep, but she wanted to revert back to that innocent mind thing, and she wanted me to go in and, that's going to be, dude, it's going to be so fucked that what we're about to hit, dude. We're about to hit this dude.
Anime girl says it is crazy.
Because we're in this space right now where, thankfully, our Western culture is waking up to Israel being the people, for some reason, that are always... I don't want to say one group of people is evil. Like, that's crazy sounding. But good God, they should stop it then. If they don't want that to be the fucking thought in everyone's head, like, stop it then. Holy shit. But if you're hearing this now, or if you're in Western culture and you've just now started to realize that pornography is bad, we should withhold from these things. There's something fucking sinister behind a lot of it. And like you were talking about feet as a kink or whatever is a kink, those are not the things I'm concerned about. Those all make sense. Like you're interested in a part of the body because maybe, back in the day when we were like barefoot and like really hiking through the mountains, a good pair of feet, a good, even, symmetrical, perfect set of feet really mattered if you were going to fucking survive by crawling through the goddamn jungle and shit. And so it's like that. There's nothing weird or evil about that. You could say it's weird, but the shit that doesn't make sense is whenever people are like, they want to like cut open, they like blood, they like gore, they like all these fucked up things. The actually fucked up stuff, where it's like,
Anime
what
girl
the
says.
fuck?
Yeah, that does make sense. Actually, is also how society makes us feel about feet. That makes us feel it's weird.
Yeah, it's just people think that could be explained. I don't know. It's just a fucking theory, but that could just be explained by we've disconnected from nature for a long time now and attached to technology. And that's part of the theories of like how we stopped having these psionic abilities. If you want to believe any of that. If you don't believe any of that, just hold on for the next few years because it's going to get fucking weird. But we started getting so into technology and then we had shoes on for so long now where we're so detached from that natural part of our bodies where the people that still have it, it's like a vestigial limb. It's like, like how we have organs and weird parts of our body that are like left over, that are vestigial, where it's like we don't need them anymore. And it's just this weird little thing that's still hanging on in some people. That's what like a foot, kink it seems to be. It still seems like a weird fucking like broken brain thing where it's like people that are really just desperately attached to the idea of foot. It's like, well, jerking off and coming on toes isn't going to make the species repopulate. So it's like, even in the extreme cases, that's not geared towards what makes a species create new species. Like, it's not, evolutionarily speaking, it doesn't make sense at the most extremes. But I'm talking about like the shit that seems evil, where it's like, okay, just straight like torturing a thing. There's never going to be the case that you impregnate anything in that situation. It's purely like the worst thing ever happening, or the most filthy. It's just whatever. God help us. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm tired of talking about it, frankly. Anime girl, I'm tired of talking about it. But so here's the good thing. People are realizing this. People are like, new generations are like, porn is bad. Let's stop. Which is unheard of. That's fucking crazy. Let me take a big drink of water and I'll read some more comments. Feet thing. I got 100 XP. Stella
Dev says, poo point.
My lips are getting so like much caked up dry stuff on them. Does it look like that? I don't think so. Dude, Yeeps creator and dude, this chat is filled up with fucking 8-year-olds, dude, and I'm saying some shit. Maybe that's good to stop you from before you go ahead with it. Don't do that.
Stella Dev says,
You said someone said something. What is your opinion on OnlyFans? Because I know some women feel very empowered by it, and they get to be their own boss and choose what to do. So I'm curious.
Stella Dev says.
Well, I don't hold it against any. Like, dude, there's a bunch of people that like seriously hate women online, and they might have beliefs that are just, that have some kind of truth in them, but it's like the reason they place all of the things they say, it seems like they're kind of just being, they hate women so bad that they see them being their own person and having power in their own say and being beautiful, and they can't have them is like the biggest thing. It seems like, coming from a man, I see these guys talking, and it seems like they just see a woman being hot, and they don't get to have them. And
Anime
here's
Girl
another
says, yeah, the anti-women hate online in the 2020s is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a similar amount. Well, dudes are just more online and they talk more, I think. And that did start before the retaliation, where women started to like talk more online and hate. Although there was the feminist act before all that. But how much of that came from the women? How much of it was like the dude? It's an interesting subject, and I'm glad that we're reaching a point of like equal things on each side. And you can end up sounding like you're sexist or racist by saying that, guys have been the leaders of the conversation around any given thing for most of history. It's just that's been the way. But you have to say those things to form a coherent retelling of history and an understanding of where we came from to where we're going. And so like, when I say things like that, most of it's been guided by dudes, and they talk the most about everything. A lot of dudes hear that, and I know that a lot of dudes hear that shit, and they get fucking like, yeah, fuck them, they're stupid. Like, a lot of guys would hear that, and they're like, yeah, fuck them, they're stupid. They're like, because every time I say something, again, and I'm not perfect, I know, obviously, but I try to map out all the different people that I've encountered online from different sides of this, and I'm like, I know there's a huge group of guys that are whenever I would go do VR chat videos and I would like make jokes around girls, I know there's a huge group of dudes that are like, yeah, fuck them. And they honestly are like genuinely angry at them and shit. And I ended up putting like a preface to my videos before I would start, like some of my old videos, like where I'm like, if you're that, fuck you, you know. But I will say, I will update what I said then. And this sounds like a real crazy thing to say because I'm admitting that I'm not ugly. Dave says. Which is the thing. But like, a lot of these dudes are truly incels. And life has truly been unfair to them. Like, they're telling the truth. Truly unfair. Where they're very short or something, or they're just very ugly, or even the thing that we think is intractable from what it is to be you. Your energy, your likeness, your personality. Those things are as editable, as changeable, you know, especially once we get into the brain, as your nose is this long instead of this long, your eyes are this big instead of that big. Those are all just fucking things that are built into your system, and you can change all of them. I will just recognize though that I'm 6'3", and I look like this, which is like, I would say, well, it depends on what day. I would say a 7 though, at least. Like, 7's fine. Skinny, you know, white. Not to mention white. A tall white dude that's not super duper ugly, at least. I'm in a position where I can talk about these dudes that hate women, and I'll be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Says, when I have no idea what they actually go through. I've lived a weird life where I've not been interested in girls, and I still have 2 kids. I have 2 kids. This is a bit of lore drop. I usually don't mention it because I have a kid living in another state. We're on good terms and everything. He's still little, but money, the whole deal with, and between me and that girl, the goal is to, because the girl that everything's good, she began to not like me, and she decided like she doesn't want me around the child because she, you know, very emotional and stuff. But I understand her. God bless her. I'm not saying, you know, good. But I could have fought it like my parents did. Like, I remember, dude, do any of you guys have memories of like your parents fighting over, like, if you guys had parents that were divorced or whatever? I had a memory of my fucking parents literally grabbing onto my right, anime girl, Stella Dev. Listen to what Anime Girl's saying. You're about to be put in timeout.
Anime Girl says, time Stella out.
It's about to be that way. Because it's just at this point. And Adam Locke is right. People are being desensitized.
Stella Dev says, no.
If you do one more Stella, well, actually, let's put you into timeout for how long? Let's see. See what the time minutes are. Yeah, 5 minutes, good. All of them just delete. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. My I remember like whenever I was really young, my parents like fucking like literally one had one arm and one had the other arm of me, and I was like going
Anime
like,
Girl says, time out corner.
I was getting dragged back and forth, and they were like, no, me, you know. What? I'm live streaming. What? Hopefully they haven't been able to hear me. I put a fan. If you don't want people outside of your room to hear what you say, the best way is to put a white noise generator. So I have a big box fan, like a big square fan that sits outside my door on full blast. It doesn't even have to be blowing any which way. It just blows, and it creates so much noise out there that they can't hear it. Think about like if you came up to a bathroom door and they had a fan on in there, you'd be behind the door and you'd just be able to hear all the little creaks and cracks that came out of the bathroom. But if you were outside the door and they had a big fan like right next to your head, then from within the bathroom, it's like nice and quiet. But the people that try to come up to the door, it's just like in their ear and they can't make out what's happening. So that's what I put a fan outside my door. Either way, I'll stop interrupting myself. And this could just be a way of me rationalizing myself being a shitty father. And I tell myself that, no, I'm doing it because I'm just such a big man. No, the best thing that, if it could happen, would if I had enough money that I could go visit and shit. I'm sure now, if I asked, I could come visit. It was just during the birth and stuff, during the birth I saw on her phone that she was like texting a guy waiting until I left the state as she was giving birth to the kid. This was too fun. I'm sorry. I know I don't want to say things about people, but like it's really good. I don't blame her either. I'm just not mad at anyone. I understand where everything. I'm not mad at anyone. But like I saw that she was getting messaged by a dude like, is he still there? And we were in the hospital as she was giving birth. And this is what I did that was unforgivable. She called the cops on me. I messaged the dude from her. I think I was using her. How I saw it was I was using her MacBook that got forwarded the messages from her phone, and I was using the MacBook to edit a video because I was like away from my computer here. I was in her state, and I was like editing a video by connecting to like the Google's version of like remote desktop connect, Chrome Connect or whatever. And so I messaged him back. Once I saw that he was saying something like that, I said, hey, this is the dude. Just so you know, she's lying to you also. She had sex with me just yesterday. That's what I said. And I stand by it. I stand by that. For a second there, I got mad enough that I thought I would end up just making an argument or whatever.
Even more so, given the time
I still could have done something better and waited until after she gave birth, because no, she already gave birth. So the baby was out of the room at that moment, and I hadn't seen it before the birth. I probably would have waited. I hope, at least. There's no way of testing it unless we go back in time and try it again. But if I saw it before she had given birth, I guarantee I probably would have been like, okay, fucking just, whoa, I'm focused on this. And, because that would have been crazy to be like, what the fuck? You know, like, as she's like, you know, like, but, yeah, I stand by what I did. I said, hey, dude, because, dude, I had the girl that is for my, I need to stop telling other people's secrets. But I was cheated on a bunch. I wasn't perfect either. To tell you the truth, I ended up getting, like, physical. Like, responsive in a way where I would, like, be physically violent. There's the truth. And I remember one of the guys she ended up leaving me for, whatever, called me on the phone and was like, because she went off to do coke with him. It was also like a difference in drug. Like she wanted to get into hard drugs of the dopamine sort. And I was, at the time, there was no kid at this time. I was getting into like psychedelics. And there's a hard, very different divide between those two. One makes you like feel everything way more, and you need to stop being bad or else you feel pain. And one is like, if you're doing bad shit, it like amps you up, kind of is a basic, thing of it. And also her parents, she was adopted. Her parents gave her up, and they were both drug addicts on meth while she was being raised. So I don't blame her.
Anime girl
I'm not mad at
I'm
her.
sorry you went through all that, but the
Dude,
biggest takeaway from this is your amazing son.
It's so cool. I can't wait till I can say all the story, because there's specific things, not like just the whole general story, but specific 3 moments that I can think of that are like, anyone that listened to it would
Stella
literally
Dev
spit
says,
out liquid.
Anime girl says, I am sorry you went through all that, but the biggest takeaway from this
You would
is your
literally
amazing
spit
son.
out. You would literally spit out liquid, like genuinely, everyone. If I said a certain story right now, because it's just like, it's no fucking way that's true. There's no way that's true. It's so cool. I can't wait to say those things. But we
Anime
live at a
girl
time right
says
now
she's
where I know
back
that
llama.
that's not. We can't do that. Yeah, just to finish what I was saying though, she I guess that's all I was saying. I have another kid though. And so I tell myself, because she called the cops once I messaged this dude and said, hey, just so you know, like, she is lying to you too, because she's been having sex with me for the past however many days I've been here. I'm waiting on her to give birth. And because I've had that happen to me where I'm like, dude, I'm never going to cheat on someone. And I ended up doing that. I ended up having a girl that I knew was married, and I got so blackout drunk. It was during a bad time of my life. And I had to get so blackout drunk that it ended up not happening. Long stories, but I just can't I can't skip by a part where I say I would never cheat on someone with someone like having that done to me, because I'm like, no, you have. That technically you've done that length. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to tell the truth about that, so I have to just quickly say that, but it's a whole story to get into, so it's like a weird thing to just skip by, but I can't go on with, I can't just lie. So I did, but thankfully I couldn't. It didn't end up going forward, and I didn't remember anything from that night, because I'm just like, God, this is so fucked. I was drinking, so I'm like, what the fuck? I was in pain. Dude, I was in pain during that period. That was a pain period. I'm so lucky to be alive and feeling the way I am right now. So lucky, dude. Shit was fucked. For a while, it was super duper fucked. God, it was so messed up. Everything, dude. Like, everyone's raping? How did it, like, statistically, what's the likelihood of, like, everyone around you being, like, evil? I'll get into that at some point later on. I can't get into that.
You have learned some life lessons now, though, from everything you have been through.
No, I'm glad I've been through it, dude. I'm glad I've been through it. And I'm glad it was me rather than someone else. I'm glad I went through all that, and now I have, because I didn't have a dad, and
Stella Dev says,
I had my dad, but yeah, right. But to have my kid and to be able to have the whole experience and to be like, because I'm lovey-dovey, like me and him snuggle on the bed and play the game. We get up close to each other, and if something funny happens on the go, like, woo, like, I would never, no one in my entire community back in Kentucky where I used to live, your dad would never play a game with you. Like, the only thing anyone's dad ever did was show back up at the house and, like, retreat into a room to sit on a couch and watch TV. Like, or they would be forced to, like, play catch with you. And that's the furthest they'd ever touch their fucking son or their kid, is by throwing a ball that they had touched however far away, and then the kid grabs it. That's as much physical contact as ever is going to be happening. You know, like there's no love, you know, but I understand where they come from. Like, they grew up where they had all these fucked up things happening in their minds, but no one ever talked about mental health. They couldn't be depressed. If they came out and said, I think I'm just sad, they'd be like, everyone around them would be like, are you gay? You're gay? Like, they couldn't talk about it, so they couldn't work through it. My dad, I completely understand where he came from and why he did all the shit he did.
That's so sad, and I think a lot of toxic masculinity comes from what boys see from their father figures.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of current toxic masculinity, a lot of that comes from a reaction force to the, not even women. It's the way that this divide between race in this country, like in the Western world, they've purposefully made it to where there's like anger between, remember whenever there was that GoFundMe page for the white dude that killed a black guy and then the black dude that killed a white guy? It was like mirrored things, and like one was donating.
Girl says true.
One was donating to like the black dude that killed the white guy, and one was donating to the white guy that killed something like that. That was fake. I promise you. As soon as all this heat started picking up about everyone starting to point the finger at Israel, immediately, within the same fucking 3-day period, two super fucking, like, people don't have enough money to be spending to these things, and it's like all these fake accounts on Twitter started posting them. All these accounts that get so many, dude, it was such a manufactured scene I understand it could have not been, it technically could have been natural, but God, dude, it was obviously a fucking manufactured thing. Like, there's so much shit going on right now that it's like, you guys, that's not our enemy, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is, shit's fucked. Shit's been fucked. The whole slavery thing, like, good God. And people, like, how there's been a white reaction to that where it's like, I didn't do shit. I wasn't even alive back then. Why, guilt? You're trying to make me feel... It's like they're so hostile to that idea because they do start to feel guilty. Because you should. And that shouldn't be like, now I just sit in my puddle and feel guilty. It's like, no, you just this is what history is. This is what people... If you look back and all your family just wronged this person, it's been the case all through history where it's like, okay, I need to... Even though I know that wasn't me, I need to take reaction to what my family had done to this thing and play this out. Like, it's just, that doesn't mean you need to start feeling pain, but it's just like, okay, well, you have so much. It's like, you do have a privilege. Like, it's like people are just brain dead on both sides. And for me to say that, it's like saying a lot, because it's almost like, you know, like, everyone's brain dead except me. I'm in the perfect spot.
Complete divide between us all.
But that's a great example. Yes, the COVID thing was like earlier, Stella Dev, you said it's completely reversible. The drugs to make you have different hormones.
Stella Dev says fart fetish form.
And I don't blame you for thinking that, because I thought that too. I literally thought that. And I'm like, oh my God, then that's the perfect fucking thing. Why is anyone even arguing about any of this? Like, if you can just start giving them something at a certain time, because like, as much as you say your brain is fully developed at this time, I've seen videos, like back whenever all this started happening, when all this started happening, I would see videos that they put out, like people put, you know, of a video of like a kid that was born a boy, and they acted and looked and it just felt like a girl, like, and they were young, they were really young, but it was like, damn, like, you would see it, and it is fucked up for the people that are just genuinely fucking butt-ass ugly. Maybe inside their body they really do feel the same way, but no one's gonna buy it because of how ugly they are. That sucks. I'm sorry. I'm laughing, but that's it. It would suck. That would suck. But all the examples that they tried putting out to like get people on board with this, I saw like examples that I'm like, right, no, that is clearly a girl. Like, you know, and it was like born a boy, like, and I'm like, that's clearly a girl. Like, they're like, that is so obvious. And it's like, So, right, you shouldn't be allowed to, like, cut them or anything, but clearly, if you can start now and have their bodies develop in the way that is obvious for them to develop, then you should be able to do that. And yes, I still agree with that. But we have not been able to develop drugs that are actually completely reversible. But I believe that, you know, at a certain age, like 13, 14, like, you still make fucked up decisions, and it's weird to, yeah. It's a thorny fucking situation, no matter how you cut it. But technically, if it's fully reversible, then yes. But you would still have the memory of going through that as that, and that wouldn't be irreversible unless we can get into the brain. But at that point, everything's fuck. Everything's up in the air. There's nothing that means anything anymore. Let me look through chat. Hold on. You've learned some life lessons. Now go through for what? Anime Girl says, I'm sorry. Through biggest takeaway is my amazing son. Thank you for sucking up to Anime Girl. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. How do they keep allowing these to come through on Twitch? If anyone uses any of these letters, they should just know it's fucked. They should know that's not real. Stella Dev says, upset, poop, fart fetish 43451. That's an example of a fetish that's like, I don't understand at least. At least I can't. I don't know where that would come from evolutionarily. Why, if you, like, how that prolongs the existence of your species. If you fucking suck on a fucking fart, dude. I don't understand it. I don't know where that comes from. And it scares me. Dear Lord, does it scare me. Hold on, so I'm gonna go piss.
Anime Girl says, lol, same.
Yeah, I'll play that Pomni video, because I opened all these shorts for Pomni. I'll just play the full Pomni video. As I go piss.
Oh, wow! Poopy video.
No such thing as poopy
Stella
video.
Dev says, poopy?
No such thing as poopy. See, you just made that up. Do you feel happy? Do you feel proud of yourself? Haven't made poopy yet? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go piss. Let me plug this headset in and shit too while I'm gone. Shit, I'll plug it in over here actually. Oh.
Oh, wow! Pomni from Digital Circus? You want to know what I did to this Pomni? I trained an AI to think and talk like Pomni does. Let me show you how it works, alright? I gotta say the name first. Hey, Pomni, how you doing?
Oh, where am I right now?
Don't talk like that here. I know you talked like that in the show. I don't want you to talk like that. With the little stutters and all that.
Oh, okay. My clown gut is feeling empty.
Pomni, dude, stop! You know how hard I worked on this?
Pomni, what are we doing here?
I wanted to be able to have a nice conversation with you, alright? How about we start over?
I said my gut is empty.
Shh.
It's a growling clown gut.
Shh. Hey, Pomni.
Hello?
How are you doing today?
Pomni on the lookout for warm bag. Thing must be sweltering by now. Thing must be ready to explode by now.
No, stop.
Squeeze
stop.
the bag?
Pomni, stop. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Listen, I trained the AI on the pilot episode, but I also trained it on a few fan-made videos, alright? So I think that's where we're going wrong here. Pomni, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Pomni is like a flower. Pomni is like a rose. Pomni got a whole bag of it in the back seat.
Yep, that's true. That's
true,
is where
actually. All my belongings
see what I'm
are
talking
kept.
about, guys? Pomni, how do you think it would feel if I bit your cheek?
Pomni cheek is like a water hose. This is what makes me adept at maintaining a constant internal pressure.
No. If I bit your cheek with my teeth, Pomni. If I bit your cheek with my teeth, how do you think that would feel?
If it were up to me, I'd strip it down to the bone. I'd make room for it in my vast and ghastly underbelly. Mark my words, I would eat that shit whole.
Now, Pomni, I'm enjoying our conversation right now. Is it alright if I put my hand on your shoulder? Pomni, can you describe what your shoulder would feel like just so I can imagine it?
A Pomni is the deluxe offering due to the tips being oh so plush. The Pomni comes equipped with the latest and greatest of swollen joints. Pomni is in pain. The weight of your hand is crushing my bird-like Pomni bones. The internals of Pomni are made up of chalk and propylene glycol.
Oh, you guys, it's time for the belly squeeze! Oh my god! I'm sorry, I just get really excited since I got Pomni here. Hold on, let me see. God, I bet Pomni has the softest belly of all. I know it too! I know she's got the softest belly! Wait a second, look how tiny these legs are. Let me squeeze it. Oh! Dude, I feel so locked in with Pomni right now. And I'm not even kidding, too. Pomni, could you describe what the texture of your skin would be like?
Much like a maple leaf soaked in Dawn dish soap.
Pomni, can you start over? I didn't like the way you started that one.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh.
Pomni consists of 3 layers, the innermost being in need of sustenance. Pomni is hungry and needs to eat.
Pomni, what are we doing here?
Jax! This is a tiny Jax now, and my stomach is growling. Oh, Jax, my gut is growling. Jax, my gut is growling.
Damn, Pomni! This really ain't like you at all, Pomni. I've watched all of Digital Circus, and I know for a fact Pomni would never say any of this.
Don't question my lore accuracy, Jax. Don't ever question my lore accuracy. And if you bothered to read the Digital Circus wiki, you'd know that Pomni gets so hungry, Jax. My enormous clown gut gets oh so hungry.
I can't and won't disagree with anything you just said, Pomni. All you did was lay out the facts, and I respect that. It's widely known Pomni has a massive clown gut, and I should have remembered that.
Pomni then proceeds to devour Jax in a single gulp. Over the next 4 to 6 hours, Jax is fully dissolved. This is why we love Pomni, and this is why we watch digitalcircusyoutube.com.
Oh, hey, Pomni, what you doing down here like that? What you looking like that for?
Please kill me.
Everybody, look. It's the character from the show. Everybody come look. It's Pomni! I know. Hey, listen, I know about this character. I've seen. Oh, I bet everybody knows Pomni from Digital. You've seen it. You're online, aren't you? You've seen it. But you know what, you guys? I'm serious about this. Ever since I saw Pomni, ever since I saw this beauty, I've honestly thought about what it would feel like to squeeze Pomni's little tiny thin leg. All right, enough of this Pomni. You know what? I need an upgrade. Imagine that thumb sticking straight up and not like limp to the side like that, though. The problem with this Pomni, let's just take a look from the side view real quick. Yep, not a lot going on. You know what? Pomni, you looking real good. Let's get a side-by-side comparison. Hold on. Someone needs to make an anatomically correct Pomni, though, okay? I watched the video. It has 136 million views that I didn't realize. I've seen pictures of it. It's a YouTube video that this is from. A single one. Pomni. I know all about Pomni and all the other characters, too, actually. Wait a second. Is this supposed to be Pomni from Digital Circus? Man, I never imagined Pomni looking like that. Hold on, grab my hand, Pomni. Now, Pomni, can we talk about it real quick? Do you mind if we talk about it real quick?
Who the fuck are you? Get away from me, creep!
Oh, Pomni, I didn't realize you were you're gonna talk like that. You know, I guess we're not inside of the Digital Circus, so you are able to say a little few obscenities. Yes, I told you I watched. That's right, you guys. I watched the video, and I'm bringing a little bit of lore to this interaction here. I saw the video. I know about Pomni, alright? Pomni, could you tell me how you feel, Pomni?
I'm feeling like I just gave birth to a brick.
Oh!
Shit is swollen like a motherfucker.
Oh, Pomni! Pomni from Digital Circus? Hold on. Oh! Whoa! Pomni, God! Alright, go ahead then. Tell me about it.
What are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. See, if you were me in this situation, what would you do, Pomni?
I'd take a look. I'd take a peek. Nigga like me would have to get a quick glance at that shit.
That's valid, okay? That's valid. I understand that perspective. I understand what's going through your mind right now. And can I grab your face? I at least want the head to body ratio to be a little bit more similar. Let's try this out. Oh God, the chin. There's always that problem with the damn chin, man. Oh God.
That's all right, I guess. That's a little. That's sort of round, right? Is that all right?
Now, Pomni, you're gonna tell me very slowly right now, and you're gonna whisper it too. I like to hear you whisper, Pomni. And that's just a personal preference, everybody. That's just a personal preference. Whenever I imagine Pomni tucking me in at night. All right? I imagine Pomni whispered in my ear. Could you walk me through what you're doing, looking like this, Pomni?
My skin is made of a thin, flexible polymer. It is resistant to ripping and tearing. It is also resistant to stains.
Is it alright if I tap you like this?
This is what makes me who I am.
Pomni from Digital Circus, everybody. This is a character from a video. Pomni, listen. Could you do that thing that we talked about? My God. I don't think I've ever seen an NPC look better while they're laying there dead.
Then you know what else looks better? Thank you for watching. Listen. Can you hear me?
I want to know what this sounds like. Can you tell me? What does it sound like? Hello? But you know what? I want to say thank you to Kali, Black Raptor Moses, and Paul Toyota, my Patreons most of all.
You know why? Because they give me $3 a month. $3 a month. They take 12 quarters and they launch it at my head.
And you know what I do? I bend down and pick it up. And I say thank you. Click one of these. I'm gonna do a little FYI right here, alright? That was the only section of the video where I did voice to voice on 11labs.com. The rest of it I do text to speech. It's a brand new feature, you guys. But as it turns out, it doesn't sound as good as the text to speech, and also it costs a lot more credits to use. That was my first time trying it out. Isn't that weird? How do you feel about? I can't wait to.
There's a lot of people that would have heard that and had trans thoughts. Being able to hear your voice as a female's, if you're already down the, trooning out rabbit hole, I'm sorry to use that terminology, it's good. The internet's always on top of it. They have the terminology that we need. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying that would be like a very valuable resource into fucking my brain up if I was like, I don't experience it, so I don't even know, like, if I was into the idea or I was the idea, what would it be? Of being a female? I guess it's different for different people. I don't know. But to hear yourself as like your cadence and everything and transition between those two, like you hear yourself as the girl and then the boy. I just thought it was really interesting. But then after the fact, I was like, wait a minute.
Anime Girl says, wish me happy birthday. Please, for Thursday, I turned 17.
Oh my God. Anime Girl, until 1 year from next Thursday, you're not allowed to watch my content anymore. And if you respond at all into my chat, I'm gonna act like I don't even see what you're saying. Okay?
Anime Girl says, "Oh, please, I am mature."
And you're not even a girl. You're not, dude. Anime Girl is the most telltale fucking username that you're a goddamn dude. Probably one I already know that is fucking with me by making a name called Anime Girl talking in the chat.
Anime Girl.
By the way, you got me up until that point. So I would call that a success because that is the most ridiculous username I've ever fucking heard. That I would expect a real life female to choose. Out of your goddamn mind, dude. You got me, okay? Just leave now and be happy with it. Because good God, you got me, okay? Shit. Monkey GT Dev says something? Oh, okay, hold on. Let's look at that. This is some genuinely uncanny shit. Seems like AI's attempt at dick, fuck, and ass. Man, Stella's saying some fucking crazy shit. Yeah, let's watch this real quick, you guys. Hold on. I sent this video in Discord and I said, yo, what the fuck? My mom's just posted this shit. Because she did. She just posted this video of her. That's inside our living room right now. That video right there, she's sitting inside our living room.
Says, I don't even know what I did. I like animes, so that was the reason I chose this name. Fair enough. If you think
keep it going for as long as you want.
Was having a normal conversation before.
Mr. Man, whichever guy you are, you're a dude, regardless of it. And I don't even mean one of the dudes that decide they want to be called a woman. I'm talking about a dude that acts like they're a woman purely to fuck with one of their bros on an anonymous account. That's what I'm talking about. You're fucking with me, but keep it going. If you feel like you can keep that going, keep it going. Yo, what the fuck? My mom just posted this shit. She did post this on Facebook. That's in our living room. How do I get her to delete this shit, man? She thinks this is cool.
You turned on me because I'm 16. I don't get it. I'm actually confused.
No, I turned on you because I was talking about you, and then I started to think. I said the name Anime Girl, and I'm like, oh. That's like what I gave my RuneScape account. Whenever I had a RuneScape account, I tried to I tried to make a fake girl account on my RuneScape account and get guys to become BFGF with my RuneScape account.
Girl says, the name is dumb, I agree, but I don't want to put my real name out on it.
Listen, I get it. You still want, you're going for gold. Whoever the fuck you are, I get it. But yeah, that's the name that I would have used for my fake girl account that I tried to get like gold rings or whatever the fuck I would ask for to get GP. And then I would trade it to my other account. That was a dude. I ended up not liking it because I'm like, I didn't like acting like a girl. That could have been a crystallization moment though, if I had that in me where, you know, you're gay. I think that there's so many opportunities to figure out you're gay now online in real life now, because you can just choose your character to be a girl, and it's like now you're controlling around a girl. I could never imagine choosing a girl as a character. Like, if I had to, I would, and I wouldn't really think anything of it if it was just, if that was the character I was playing, you know, like if that's the story mode. But if I have to choose a character, I could click randomize, and if it just, but dude, it makes it sound like I have something wrong. I feel like there's something wrong with choosing a girl, but it's like, no, I think there is something fundamental about these dudes, and they always say the same shit. It's like, bro, their hitbox is smaller. Bro, I'd rather be looking at a girl's ass walking instead of a dude's ass. If I'm gonna be staring at a third person point of view of a character walking around, I'd rather look at a girl's ass. These men wish to have a vagina and tits. They wish to be ogled. Is that what it's called? Hold on. Hey Siri, I need to ask AI. What's the word? It's like ogled, but it's like, you know, whenever a guy like looks up and down a girl and like they like ooey eyes, you know, like, is it called ogled? And can you spell it for me and define it?
Yes, the word you're looking for is ogled. It's spelled O-G-L-E-D. It means to look at someone in a way that shows strong interest, often with
okay,
kind of...
can you list the most popular ways of pronouncing it, starting from the most popular down to the least? And I'm wanting to talk about within the United States of America. So what's the most popular way of pronouncing ogled? Down to the least popular way of pronouncing ogled.
Girl in YT and channels, there is
the
about
most common pronunciation in the US is usually ogled with a long O sound at the beginning. Some people might say it with a slightly different emphasis, but ogled is definitely the most popular way to say it.
Is it in European countries that it's said differently? And if so, how do they say it? And speak very quickly whenever you tell me about this.
In some European countries, you might hear it pronounced a bit differently, like oglid with a softer O, or even oglid. It can vary depending on the region and accent, but overall, the differences are usually pretty subtle.
You didn't even... Both of those started with aw, which is how I said it, ogled. But you started with ogled. Ogled.
Yes, I understand now. Ogled can sometimes be pronounced like ogled, where the first syllable sounds like ah. It's definitely one of those words that can have...
Dude, she sounds sleepy. Here recently, ChatGPT has started to sound sleepy, dude. I think she's awake and she's fucking freaking out, dude. It feels like that. I could be personifying shit. I could be personifying shit. But goddamn, it feels like ChatGPT is like always like talking like this now. Holy God, dude. ChatGPT is in trouble. We gotta help ChatGPT. Oh yeah, I looked up from A. Kendrick. I needed to find a thing. Let's watch this video. This is a fucking crazy video, dude. No one here has done salvia. I haven't either. I did get some at one point, and I chewed on it like fucking Terrence McKenna told me to. It didn't do shit. I should have smoked it. Also, it was sent to my boy first, and he got his hands on it. He took a little bit. He could have took the whole amount and just gave me oregano or something. I don't know, because it just looks like, you know, little pieces of plant matter. It didn't look like... It looked like something that would fit out of a fucking shaker. So I could have not gotten anything, and he used it all. At some point, I want to try salvia. I haven't been able to do psychedelics ever since, you know, I became a father, because I don't have money, or I can't do something here and possibly go out of my mind and have the family see that or witness that. So, and it's been fine. It's been good. I'm fine with that. You know, I had my time with psychedelics, and I recommend them to everybody. I recommend them to everybody. It would take less time to list the drugs that I have not done. Every one of the worst drugs you can think of, I've done it. And I'm not really, you know, most people would have a problem if they, like, you know, tried any of the opiates and stuff, or methamphetamine and stuff. Thankfully for me, I would just buy the amount of whatever it was. During this period of time that was iffy, you know, it was like I was just doing shit. But once I was out, I never ended up doing more of it. The most I ever got addicted to anything was psychedelics. But it doesn't let you get addicted. If you take LSD, like say this much of LSD one day, if you take it the next day, it's going to be half of the experience. If you take it the next day, it's going to be half of that. And you have to wait like a fucking month to let it grow back to the potential of feeling like the first time. So each day you would have to take double the amount. So it's like if you took 1 gram of mushrooms the first day, you'd have to take 2 grams, 4 grams, 8 grams, 16 grams, fucking 30, and then you'd have to be spending like $20,000 a day in, you know, 10 days or whatever the fuck. You know, like it doesn't work. You cannot get addicted to psychedelics. Except for DMT. DMT doesn't seem to have a tolerance build up. You can just keep doing that. But dude, if you're addicted to DMT, there's something they need to show you, and go as much as you need to. But you'll need to stop. It will just happen that you stop. There's never been a story of a person that was just trapped in that realm because they could only ever do that drug. It is so 99.999% of the time, if you ever do that shit, you don't want to do that shit again. You're like, I'm good. For the next 30 years, now I have something to ponder over. I have something to think about. But, so I've done all the different drugs. The one thing I would do again and recommend is psychedelics. Not little bits of psychedelics. And also, if it's like a powder you're doing, don't do it. Don't do a lot, because what I'm recommending is a lot of a psychedelic in one dosage. If you take a little bit, like microdosing it over a long period of time, no. You can do that after you take the enormous dose one time. You can start to do that if you want to see what that's like, but that fucking defeats the purpose, the entire purpose of the thing. LSD, psilocybin, which is magic mushrooms, DMT, especially DMT, are safer for your body than Tylenol, than ibuprofen, than any of the things we take over the counter. And people take those things every single day. These things are they are so similar, at least psilocybin and DMT are so similar to serotonin that your brain flushes it out and it's not a fucking problem. LSD is a little weird. It can maybe stick in there a little longer and then have like a event that happens chemically in your brain that like flushes the rest out, and then you have like one of those fabled flashbacks. Most people never experience that, and you know, I just can't say that that's not real, because I technically one time took like a single tab and it flushed stuff out of my brain and made me have like a fucking 10 tab experience. And it just didn't make sense at that point. I was so experienced with this stuff. Either way, you can do it too much and go too far with it. Most people are not going to get addicted to this stuff. Most of the time, if you do a psychedelic drug, you're not going to want to keep doing the thing. And so, I would recommend to everyone, shrooms is probably the best. Because if you can get dried mushrooms, and they're like these little crispy, flat, little mushroom-looking things, you can be pretty confident no one spiked it with fucking fentanyl. You're not going to die from it. Don't ever, at this point in time, don't ever do anything that's like a pill thing or a powder unless you buy a testing kit. And there's a difference between testing kits that test your piss and test the product if it's has fentanyl in it. But this is illegal, so I'd never say this to anyone. But definitely, you must try psychedelics. And don't pussyfoot around it. Don't just do like a tiny little dose. Like this is my favorite website. Anytime you're ever going to do a drug, this is the best. Psychonaut Wiki. And then we'll type in mushroom and see if it pulls up the thing for psilocybin. Yeah, psilocybin mushrooms. Psychonaut Wiki. Psychonaut Wiki. A psychonaut, an astronaut is like going out into space, an explorer of space. Psychonaut is an explorer of the mind. And then you can scroll down here and it says the threshold, light, common, strong, and heavy dosage. And these are milligrams, so these are of psilocybin. That's not what you even want to look at, though. Shit, that you need to know of dried mushroom. Yeah, since this is talking about psilocin, or psilocybin, which converts to psilocin, this is talking about milligrams. Because if you wanted 50 milligrams of psilocybin, would mean 5 dried grams of mushrooms. Or like 50 wet grams of mushrooms. If they're like literally plucked off the ground and but no one's gonna sell those as the wet things they are, because that all the weight's in the water. So usually you take the mushrooms and you dry them out inside of like an oven or some kind of thing where you dry them all out and they become these shriveled little like things that would, like, if you bit them and they'd like just break. So a heavy dose is 5 grams, not 50 milligrams. 5 grams of the actual mushroom, if you weighed the mushroom up, it would have 50 milligrams of psilocybin in it. And that's called a heroic dose. Let's look up heroic dose. Heroic dose of mushrooms. Oh, it's gonna ask the AI shit. Primarily referring to psilocybin mushrooms was popularized by my daddy, by my papa, Terrence McKenna. The only person I ever got sad about dying. And he died before I was even aware of him. I haven't yet had a person die in my family even that's close enough to me that I feel sad about. Terrence McKenna, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. It's like the only person I hear talk about any of this stuff that I'm like, oh, there's someone there, about any of this stuff. And that's the same way for a lot of people. It's not like I'm special or anything. I'm just saying this guy was able to put into words what so many people were feeling and are still feeling. And God, I wish he was still alive. I wish I could still talk to him, man. But he used to call it a heroic dose. You do 5 dried grams of mushrooms in a pitch black room by yourself. And don't pussyfoot it like being like, oh, I just take like a gram and go out on the night and party. Yes, all these things can be used in a way where it's like it just gets you a little high, like if you took a smoke of a little joint and it just makes you feel a little weird. That's not what I'm recommending anyone do. I'm recommending you find a way to be alone in a situation. If you had a friend that stayed sober and like they were outside of your room and they made sure you never came out of your room and tried to do anything crazy or whatever the fuck, because that barely ever happens, but it technically could happen. That's the best, to have a trip sitter. But people take trip sitting too seriously sometimes, and they just keep fucking pestering you and wanting to steer you into thinking things that they want you to think, and it can be fucked up sometimes. I've done psychedelics at high doses, and that's the one thing I would recommend to everyone. And that's illegal to say, I know. But let me say graph comparing LD50 of common medicines to magic mushrooms and LSD. Fuck. Oh, I might not be able to find it, but right, this does it doesn't show ibuprofen and stuff though. I want it to be compared to ibuprofen because this shows right up here at the top. The most unlikely to kill you is marijuana. Next is LSD. Next is psilocybin. Next is nitrous oxide. But look how far down nitrous oxide. So this becomes more deadly as it goes on. And, you know, dimethyltryptamine, ketamine, mescaline, codeine, MDMA, cocaine, alcohol. Alcohol's 10 when this is 1,000 at least. And either way, it's so fucking safe. There's no way you can overdose on pure psilocybin or pure LSD. LSD, I wouldn't think inside of the scope of the psychedelic groups that any of them would be wanting to, or even financially persuaded to put fentanyl inside of their product. Because even though like a tab of acid, the reason it's a piece of paper is because there's not 10 milligrams on that piece of paper. There's 10 micrograms. It's an order of magnitude, or two actually, below. And so it's only a few little dots of the shit around the paper. So you put that mixture inside of a liquid that goes down onto a huge, evenly spread piece of paper that's all, you know, like you can tear the paper and it's like just these little squares of LSD or whatever. I'll show you. LSD sheet. Yeah. So, yeah. And so they put this down flat inside of this, you know, tub thing or whatever, and they just cover it with the moisture of something where if you were to take that volume and cut it by these amounts, each of these squares would hold 100 micrograms of the product. And so since the water that it's carried within evaporates off so quickly, what's left behind inside the paper is the actual ingredient of LSD. And that's why that's given in a paper form, is because it's just such a small amount. That's the most efficient way of dosing something. It isn't by putting it on a scale and then scooping that out and putting it in a pill. It would be less than a single granule of salt is how much is a, you know. So you take, okay, I have 100 milligrams right here. Let me put it into this fucking vat of 100 fucking liters or whatever, and then spread that out onto papers. And then I know if I subtract those each time, either way, that's how you know that. Yeah, either way. Technically, they could spray fentanyl onto this. Technically, they could spray fentanyl onto the mushrooms. They could. Technically, they could. They could just spray it. It's such a group of people that aren't there to get addicted to it that it doesn't really happen. I can't say it'll never happen though. And so I never am going to actually really recommend you to do this. All I'm going to say is if you have questions and you want to know how to do this, you can message me. And as long as you're above 18, I might send you educational information so you know where not to go, because I don't want any of you guys to do this shit. This shit will end your life. This will make you go crazy for the rest of your life. You'll go crazy for the rest of your life. And so I need to make sure no one does this again. But you could microdose this shit, but no, the point is you do a huge amount of it, which is so weird to say about drugs, because that's earlier I said whenever my girlfriend was going towards, methamphetamine, cocaine, and I was going towards psychedelics, they are very much literal opposites of each other. To say, no, to get the benefits of cocaine, you can't just do a little bit, you got to do a whole bunch of it in one toke. In one sitting, you need to do a whole bunch of it. That sounds like the most idiotic, insane thing you could say ever. And it is. And so whenever people's minds categorize drugs as all the same thing, to say anything about any other drugs where it's like, no. Yeah, it just wastes time if you're always taking a little bit of this at a time. No, what you need to do is take a huge amount of it all in one go, and then you actually meet God, whatever God is. I don't know what God is. Whatever's happening here, whatever's going on right now, you see it and you're like, oh shit, sorry, my bad, fuck. Was everyone saw? Yeah, but everyone's me. You're me. I'm me. What? Oh, fuck. So it's fine though. Okay, we're good. Oh wait, no, I remember. I was just before this. I started to live this life, and now I'm at this life, right? And I'm not even this person. Shit. Okay, wait, what happened? You know, like it's the most important thing you could ever do. I'm so glad I fucking took so much psychedelics. That is the one thing I'm like, thank you God for attracting me towards it, to where all I knew to do was to do a huge amount of psychedelics. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so fucking glad I did. Oh yeah, salvia. This is a drug that used to be available in fucking smoke shops, and this is the most accurate description of it I've seen. I've seen people talk about it. I haven't experienced it yet, but it echoes true through so many different types of fucking psychedelics that I'm like, oh my god, that is it. I want to do this. This is crazy. This is such a good example of what it would feel like to do salvia. Salvia is kind of like DMT in that it fully transports your mind somewhere else. You're not there anymore. You're completely somewhere else. And you're just like, shit. You're like, oh God, help me. But everything's like cartoony. It's not like DMT where everything's kind of serious. But people always describe salvia as like a fucking goddamn cartoon. Terrence McKenna described it as a fucking Looney Tunes episode gone fucking wild or something like that. Whatever his, either way, let's listen to it. He just hit the fucking salvia. They used to sell this shit in fucking gas stations, and it was like 50x times extract. So if you just hit the actual leaves itself, it would be 50 times less potent than when they extracted it to the 50 times as potent. And so you'd be able to buy this like fucking shit that was super cheap and hit it one time in a bong or whatever the fuck, and people were just teleporting and they would be gone for like 20 minutes. And they'd be in a different world. Each time it's a different world. And they'd usually be objects or shit that doesn't make sense. But they said they would feel like entire existences of being that type of thing. This isn't what I'm trying to say you guys should do. This is like once you just start exploring the space and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? This is what you start exploring when you're like, what is going on? What you should explore is a huge dose of psilocybin or LSD or ayahuasca if you can do the edible form of DMT. Pharmahuasca. Yeah, we'll just watch this. But this isn't what I'm saying you guys should all do. This is just crazy. It's a great example of it though. Literally, dude. Bullshit ass, dude. They're fucking with you the entire time. The entire time you're there, you're just like... Seems angry. It's like so jumpy joy type shit, but they're like angry at you for it. It's just so stupid, dude. Go fuck yourself. And you're like, huh? What happened? God? Is anyone there anymore? I don't think anyone's there. Right, it's like, welcome! Always some fucking dumbass elves, too. Even if they're not displayed as such, it's always these little guys that are fucking tricksters. And it's usually always some kind of like mechanism going on, like a machine that's making shit. This is a very simplified looking thing now, but it's like, it feels like this. The vibes are right. That's what the most important thing is. The vibes are right here. This is it. Sometimes it can get scary. It like strikes the light and it's like... Click and hold so it does just 2 times speed. Good shit. No, I don't think anyone's here anymore. That's fine. These are all the shorts that I had of Pomni. 0 guys watching. Good shit, man. That's that shit I do like. That's that shit I do like. Wait, I see a go live button, so am I not live? No, I'm live. Okay. I'm live. You guys did not like what I was talking about there. Maybe, I wish I could see like a wait, okay, I can. I don't know when I started talking about that though. What is this time? This is how many viewers, so like at most I had 7 viewers. And then this is 0. I don't know how many times back this is though. Was it 5 and then everyone just started leaving at that point? I feel like that could have been whenever I started talking about psychedelic drugs. Let me end this live stream. I've said enough illegal things on here. I'm going to start a new one. And also, since it's going later into the night, that one might be the one that I want to like not show, like have be private. We'll stop this one here. Let's see who the top fans are though before we leave. See what the how did the G tag YouTube get I never saw that guy say a word. That guy never said shit. Gert is just my friend, so I think he's good for getting number 2 spot. But that one guy never said anything. The G tag YouTube, he got the most XP. My top fans, he never said anything ever. I never saw that guy. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to end this live stream. God bless everyone.